Tool in the shed. And that is my life in a nutshell.
I mean, you've got more talent than most people on TikTok, I'll tell you that.
That's true. But yeah, ain't the sharpest tool in the shed. Anyway, this is the podcast, and I am your host, Astile Doherty, joined with yet another new guest, 5 episodes in a row now, and his name is...
MC Chungus. How's it going?
MC Chungus. He's got the proper radio host audio quality and everything. And
because I spent fucking £60 on some knockoff AirPods.
Wait, I thought you had the Raymonds? Is that what they're called?
No, I was thinking of getting them, but it was like 60 quid. They were the same like price as these, except they were 60 quid.
Yeah.
But since they're made in America, you have to get like 30 quid for shipping.
Oof.
And it's just like, no.
I mean, you know, YouTubers sponsor that shit like every video, so you probably could have. Like...
Oh yeah, I tried to get a discount code, but the thing is, it knocked like £20 off like the shipping delivery fee, and it was just like, it was still £10 more than getting these.
Jesus, what, the air clones?
Oh, it's like, I've got the box. It's like the Soundcore Liberty 2.
Oh, okay.
I got them because I saw that they were recommended on Reddit, so I mean.
And this is 2 episodes in a row now, because this happened in the last episode. My dinner arrived just before we started, so I may be eating in the background, but I'll try my best to keep it away from my laptop speakers.
Just midway through. Wait, what are you eating?
I just got some Greek, some chicken, rice, bread, little fried onion and jalapeno. You know, the good stuff.
So we'll be like midway in the podcast, and then you'll just be munching on that jalapeno and sweating like hell and panting.
Probably. Well, I've actually taken my shirt off because I'm so hot right now.
Fair enough. I mean, it's like it's not quite the summer, like the intense summer heat.
I mean, yesterday was fucking shit. Like, it was grey and it started drizzling, and today it was mostly grey and it only got sunny at like 6:30 or something, but I was in the middle of watching the original Cloverfield, which I'd never seen before, so I just kind of ignored it and paid attention to that, because I've seen 10 Cloverfield Lane and I've seen the Cloverfield Paradox, and I enjoyed Cloverfield Lane, but the Cloverfield Paradox actually put me to sleep, and I missed about 60% of the movie. So
I've never seen that movie before.
I just gave it a half star out of 5.
Oh, okay.
Or 1 out of 10. Yeah.
Oh my god, half of this is just going to be me being clueless on everything that's going on.
Well, let's segue from the introduction into something you're arguably less clueless about, but still relatively clueless about, and that is how MC Chungus and Steely G came to know each other, which is...
Oh, this should be good.
It's not an interesting story, but it is a story that is worth talking about, where basically it was a random day in PE class, and this is back this is back when I was like a psychopath and I just didn't really care about anything. What year was this? This is like year 8.
I need to know what
year 8 or year 9.
Year 8, okay.
Or year 9, I'm not sure.
God,
and I just bullied someone dressed as Green Man, and I made a joke about it to you, and then I mentioned that I'd seen your sister walking your dog in Cherry Tree Woods before, and the first thing you said to me was, "Yeah, it's weird that Asian people have pet dogs," and I started laughing.
To be heavily racist and did not think about consequences.
Yeah, and
yeah.
And yeah, that made me laugh, and I thought to myself, this guy is fucking funny. So yeah, from that day onwards, me, MC Chungus, just hitting up the occasional interaction. Then we get to sixth form, where we're basically the only 2 people that really fucking know each other anymore. And it's Gucci Gang. And it's a good relationship, I think, a good friendship. I would say
very good casual thing.
Seb is like the cool one, whereas I'm kind of like, I guess, the crazy one, the wild card type character. That's like how our duology works. temporarily interrupted by him being a bit of a simp, but you know.
My fucking god, no, not.
Okay.
No fucking.
I've briefly mentioned it, and I will leave it there.
Alright, okay.
Alright. I'm pretty sure she won't know it's you because you're using your pseudonym, whatever it's fucking called.
Oh yeah, the alias.
Alias. You'll say alias because I can't pronounce the other word. It's too fancy for my taste. And yeah,
I don't know the other word, so.
That's basically how me and MC Chungus know each other. We're good friends who became friends from a racist joke that he told. You know. So yeah. But hey, at least it wasn't the white person doing it this time.
Oh no, because you get crucified. As a white person, you get crucified.
Well,
genuinely.
I've come to accept that white privilege is a thing, so, you know.
Yeah.
Whatever, it's all good. Yeah, so I guess we can just move on to regular topics, and since you're the guest, I guess you could go first, and I believe you mentioned you wanted to talk about Goku or some fucking weeb shit.
It was Naruto, because basically Lockdown's very boring in that, like, you'll ask someone after, like, 3 months of after, like, not talking to them, I was just like, oh, how's your life going? And you'll probably have, like, 1 or 2 conversation topics.
Yeah.
And it's just, like, after that, it's just like, oh, okay, so that's pretty much it. Oh, fuck, now it's boring. But, like, I mean, one thing I have done is watched endless Naruto, and I don't know, I watched so much. I watched all the original series, which was about 220 episodes.
Oh my god. Jesus.
And about 430 of the Shippuden, the second one. And
I don't know what any of those words mean, but they sound cool, so.
It's like, yeah, no, the original series it's basically him, the main character, growing up from like when he's like 10 to 13 in the first series, and like I think 15 to like 16 in the second series.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, the thing is, I don't usually watch a lot of series or like movies. So when I'm watching like a long series, I'm one of those people that will watch the fillers. Like, I won't pay attention to the whole thing, but I'll like watch the fillers just for like no reason, because I can't be able to figure out when the arc stops.
Yeah, I can understand that. Like, when I sat through the entirety of the Clone Wars for the last episode, like, I mostly watched the filler episodes, but there was like the occasion where I would start skipping through them, because like there was this one with like R2-D2 and C-3PO. Like, the first episode was okay, but the other one was just so fucking boring, and it literally turned into a Wizard of Oz parody, and I just started skipping through it because I was like, what the fuck is this, you know? Like, come on.
Wizard of Oz, I can't remember the first time I saw it.
Yeah. It's
sort of like a thing that I've just grown up with. I keep getting the date wrong on when it came out. I always forgot, because it was definitely before like colored TV. They had to like put in colors.
Yeah.
They couldn't just have like a colored camera shot and then just put that on there.
So like, what would you say was the best like arc or like set of episodes for Naruto?
For Naruto. That's.
Give me all the details.
The thing is, I've got like a very short memory. I'm gonna have to like quickly. I'm gonna go on my Crunchyroll account for this one, because
Well, let's put it this way.
I've got my laptop over here.
Would you recommend it? Is my question.
I'll recommend it, but only if you're like a person that can really commit to an anime.
I mean,
like if you've got like a short attention span, it's no. It's like interesting at the start, but.
Yeah, but you got through it. Like, doesn't that... You're kind of an inspiration. As someone with a short attention span, you were able to sit through it, right?
Yeah, I can sit through stuff. It's just the fact that I'm too lazy to, like, turn it off or, like, find a different, like, an interesting sort of arc. Oh, I definitely know. Alright, okay. This one has to go. It's the arc where they take the tune-in exams. It's like a preliminary round. It's basically they have to go through like 3 exams, and one's like a written test, one's a survival thing where you take 5 days, and they had a preliminary exam right after that they didn't tell them about.
Okay.
Where basically they just did a bunch of 1v1s, and you pretty much can't go wrong because every single anime fan nuts himself over like a good fight.
Well, yeah, of course.
I feel like that, yeah.
Even Death Note has some like anime-ish fights, and that's one of the most serious animes I've ever watched.
Oh, Death Note is without doubt the best anime series.
Yeah.
Just period.
Better than Naruto.
Just for the fact that it's really smart.
Better than Naruto?
Definitely better than Naruto. It's...
My only problem with Death Note is that it kind of dips in the second half, because like...
oh yeah, because
I don't hate N, but I can understand why people don't like him. You know. Like...
I was fine with it, to be honest. I first watched Death Note when I was in year 9, so when I was about 14. So it was like the gateway anime, and I didn't really have a problem with it. Misa pissed me off just for the fact that she was just really loud.
I'm in the minority where I actually kind of like Misa Amane.
I can't really remember the series too much, even though I've watched it about 3 times. But I remember Misa just being, I don't know if she... It's just her voice that annoyed me. You know, I feel like if any anime character has like a very high-pitched voice and just keeps sort of shouting, it kind of gets on my nerves a bit.
I watched the dub, which is surprisingly good.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's surprisingly good, considering it's a dub.
Yeah.
And,
I think
like, Misa's voice isn't really annoying, because she's just like I said, she just sounds like a white girl. But I have seen, like, clips from the anime, and obviously nothing against Japanese women, but they are much better at, like, high-pitching their voices. And she can be really annoying in the clips that I've seen of her speaking Japanese.
Death Note probably has the best English dub out of all anime, because every single time I go from thinking an anime is quite, like, I fuck with this, and I watch the dub, and hear fucking Bryce Papenbrook scream down my ears at the top of his fucking lungs. I'm just like, oh god, did I seriously invest my time into this?
I would say that my gateway anime was probably Spirited Away, because I just loved it so... Do you remember when we watched it in the hall in, like, year 8 or year 7?
I can't remember that, but it's like... I definitely remember. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. I loved it so much.
Ghibli films, just everyone fucks with them. Everyone does. I mean, I don't think I know one person that just doesn't like a Ghibli film, because it's literally just... It was my childhood. Literally was.
Yeah, my sister had it on DVD.
Yeah. I don't even know if I have it on DVD. I have like a large bookcase just filled with DVDs, just endless, and I don't even watch any of them, so... Might do, might not.
Do you use My Anime, whatever it's called, where you can, like... It's basically IMDb, but for anime. Like, you can mark it as currently watching, haven't finished yet, or on hold, or... You can even mark it down as I stopped watching it, because some animes are just so shit.
I've got a Crunchyroll Premium membership, because...
okay.
I mean, if you're gonna watch like 800 episodes of anime, it's a worthwhile investment and not have to go through.
Yeah.
Like, have to like, it's almost like, because like, you know, like Kiss Anime and all those streaming services. Like it's like you have to be like on like the level of a gamer in like reaction time, so you don't click on the ads and get a virus on your computer. And I mean, I'm tired of just having to... I'd rather just click the next button and then watch the next episode instead of just trying to close tabs and reopen them.
Fair enough. Yeah.
But
fair enough.
Currently, going back to Naruto, I mean, I'm taking a look at all the seasons over here,
mm-hmm.
and I think the best one is let me see, it's the tune-in exams, and it's yeah, I think it's season 2 or 3.
Okay.
Because it's got like the fights where it's like the most iconic, like Rock Lee versus Gaara.
I think I've actually seen a snippet of that before. I just remember.
Oh yeah.
I just remember it looking really cool.
It's yeah.
Would you say that it's a gateway anime, or do you already have to kind of be into anime to kind of enjoy it? What would you say?
The thing is, Naruto is, because it was made in like the early 2000s. I feel like it's something that you have to grow up with, or you're already in anime and want to watch it because it's iconic. So I don't think it can be a gateway.
Well, because
I,
you know me, I'm a very casual watcher. So like, I'll watch anything, like as long as I think it's got good qualities. I'm like, yeah, okay, that was worth my time. So would you say someone like me could just like sit down and just watch it and take it in like you would anything else, or is it like really anime?
Oh, that's a good question, because it's definitely got more slapstick anime than most shows.
Yeah.
So if you're into that, you could probably.
I find it very funny. Like I said, I found Death Note at the beginning I found to be really engaging, and then towards the middle, the middle, I thought it got kind of goofy, but in an enjoyable way. Like, for example, that scene where it's like L is like rubbing Light's leg or something, and it's got like a homosexual overtone. I'm like, it's actually like a good scene because it tells us something about a character that we love so much, but at the same time it's kind of like, this is kind of out of nowhere, so I can't help but chuckle a little bit, you know?
Yeah, the thing is with Death Note, the thing what makes it so good is just so smart.
Yeah.
It's just some of this, the way he hides the Death Note in like his drawer, and has like a hatch where like if you don't use a certain pen, you can't do it, and it will explode it, and all the evidence is destroyed. It's really well thought out, and that's what sort of draws everyone in. But like the middle of it, it's kind of entertaining seeing basically every single fangirl's dream come true with Elle and Light just sort of having their little. I think it was like a reference to the Bible where like where Elle washes Light's feet.
Yeah, that's it. That's what
that scene. That scene.
Like I said, it is a good scene, but I just can't help but chuckle whenever I see it. Like, I've only seen the whole thing once, and I was actually forced to watch an episode in Japanese because I just couldn't find the English dub anywhere. And I had a decent time, and I think that was what encouraged me to watch more anime in its native language, like Tokyo Godfathers, and well, that's kind of it. But in the future, like, I might check out Naruto based on what you've said, but like, yeah, I think I'm more prone to watching the original Japanese material, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Everything just sounds better as well.
Yeah, exactly. Like, the sound effects are better. And sometimes the dialogue is better. Like the American versions, they like edit the dialogue and make them kind of shit, but Japanese dialogue is quite good, you know?
Jokes aren't translated correctly into the dubs, and they just make a complete idiot out of themselves.
Like, do you remember in Pokemon when they replaced rice balls with like donuts or something, even though in the animation they're clearly rice balls?
I've never actually seen Pokemon. I'm part of that.
I watched it when I was a kid, but I haven't seen it in years.
I mean, contrary to what you might think, I didn't actually grow up with that much anime besides Ghibli films. It was mostly
I know
year 9. Yeah,
I know.
So Pokemon, I never got into.
Fair enough.
I never actually remember.
What would you say is the absolute worst that Naruto has to offer? Because like you said, there were like a couple of filler episodes, but like, are there like arcs that just don't work, or is like, I don't know.
Oh, sort of near the end where like Sasuke already goes to Orochimaru.
I have heard negative things about the ending.
It's just a bunch of pointless filler arcs, and it's like them going on pointless missions.
Yeah.
Like that have no difference, like no character development. You're basically just seeing their abilities, and it's just.
Well, like, I remember reading somewhere that someone said, like, you could stop watching Naruto, like, before the ending. Like, you could stop at a certain arc and, like, pretend that was the final one and then ignore the other episodes. Is that true?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you could probably do that.
Fair enough. Is the ending, like, worth it? Like, is there
ending worth it? In the original series, not. I think you had to get to the end of Shippuden, which is, like, sort of like when it gets into the bigger picture of like the organization trying to basically achieve world domination in that.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't actually watched the end of it because it's 499 episodes. So I'm 430 in right now, and
not bad.
It actually looks quite good, but the thing is, it's that type of anime where as soon as you get into something interesting, they cut to a fucking flashback.
Yeah.
Like,
oh my god, I've heard about that before.
Why?
Yeah. That is
Why the fuck do I give a shit about 10 what she did 10 years ago? No.
Oh, you just reminded me. Have you ever watched the Samurai Kenshin or whatever it is thing?
No.
Because I remember I was watching 2 episodes on Netflix. I think I watched 1 or 2 episodes. And there was just like, it was this really weird one where the main character was like trying to fight like this kid who was like undefeatable and completely emotionless because he'd been abused like his whole life. So he literally has no emotions and he just talks happy-go-lucky all the fucking time. And it was so weird. And the thing is like Samurai Kenshin didn't kill people for some reason because like he used to be like a slayer, but then he like realized what he was doing was fucked up or something, so he just became like a no killer kind of guy. It's one of those things. And yeah, it was very strange, and it was in English, and the dubbing was actually kind of terrible. Like the kid that I was just talking about, the emotionless one, was so fucking annoying. Like I can't describe it. He was just so irritating.
Yeah, I mean, like, what you're talking about is the kid who is just an absolute psychopath but is unbeatable. That's like pretty much every single edgy anime character.
To me,
yeah.
That's just bad character writing. Like, yeah, we got some psycho kid who's just unstoppable, and then but he's like young and he's not as experienced as the main character, so the main character just fucking butchers him, you know?
Yeah.
Because realistically, that edgy character would win, because like they're completely fucking nuts, you know?
Yeah, but plot armor.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. It's like fucking Star Wars episode 4 and 5.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, we won't get into that, but
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any more to say about anime?
Like a few recommendations, or?
Sure.
Alright, okay. Definite gateway anime. Number one, if you're talking about anime, you have to watch Death Note. It's just...
I can vouch for that.
Yeah.
I would say that.
Yeah. Then sort of the tier below that, what I'd consider watching is Attack on Titan.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's something that teases both the sort of short attention span, I want to see a fight right now,
you know,
and the people that actually want to plot.
Yeah, I won't, you know, Lurkan and the other one who I won't name, but you know those guys, right?
Yeah.
Literally, whenever I talk to them, they always bring up Attack on Titan, like, and they talk about how good or shit it is. Like, to me, that's like the anime to talk about.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It sounds epic, and it sounds like one of those shows that has like a genuine fan base. Like, they can recognize when an episode is shit or when an episode is good. Like, I actually really want to watch it. I really want to watch it.
Dude.
I will. Dude. All right. Any more recommendations?
All right, this one is going to be bit of a controversial one, but Tokyo Ghoul, I know that it's one that everyone considers quite shit, because you can't remember the characters and it moves very quickly. I don't know, I think it's just the fact that I have a bit of I've got a bit of nostalgic memories of Tokyo Ghoul. That's why I like it so much.
Fair enough.
But I think it's definitely better if you read the manga, and that's sort of like, I don't know, it's like, I feel like I say, like everyone says that a lot, it's like, oh, it's much better if you read the manga. I was like, it's much better if you read the book.
Yeah, fair enough. Actually, I have a question for you. Do you watch Kimber the White Lion, or have you ever seen it?
Never heard of it before.
Basically, like, you know Your Movie Sucks, right? He recently released, like, a 2-hour-long video where he basically completely debunked the suggestion that The Lion King is a rip-off of Kimber the White Lion. And literally, this whole thing that had been going on for, like, decades, like, over 2 decades, like, he basically disproved it because the people suggesting that The Lion King is a rip-off of Kimber, they were using clips from a remake of Kimber that came out after The Lion King and saying that The Lion King ripped off Kimber, even though, like, Kimber and The Lion King are nothing like each other.
That just sort of reminds me of, like, when tons of people just sort of, like dig out some music artists because they, like, oh, the stuff they got famous on, the album that they got famous on was ripped off of someone else.
What? No.
It just has that sort of vibe to it, if you get what I mean.
And when I say no, I mean, like, no as in, like, no, they didn't really steal anything. Like, you can say that they borrowed from other artists. Like, Jay Dilla, like, most of his career was, like, samples, you know? Like, and there's nothing wrong with that. His music was fucking amazing, you know? So, any more recommendations, or are we done with anime?
I think we'll leave it at that. I think
I
20 minutes is enough.
I do have one more question for you.
All right.
Do you ever force members of your family to watch anime with you?
Oh,
how many times
the thing is,
do you have to, like, drag your sister into the room and say, bitch, watch this now?
It was the other way around.
Oh yeah, I remember now.
My sister got me to read the first manga of Tokyo Ghoul, and she got me watching Death Note, Yuri on Ice, and that's another one. That's another one that was quite funny. But I mean, like, I think we forced my mum to watch Death Note, but she didn't understand it. It's like sort of like when your mum try to show your mum a meme,
or like, when you're making your auntie watch fucking Filthy Frank.
Oh, I heard about that on your last podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I miss those days.
Don't you ever notice, like, boomers in general, when you try to show something to them, I don't know, it's like they curl up into, like, a golem position, so they try to, like, read the fine print of, like, the meme.
To be honest, my auntie isn't even that much of a boomer. Like, she can recognize what's shit and what's not. Like, she doesn't really she doesn't really like iDubbbz or anime, but she does, like, acknowledge why they might be appealing to each other. And the thing is, right, if I sat her down and, like, made her watch Death Note, she might actually really like it. But, like, she's able to, like, detect and know when something's bad. Like, when I show her something like RiceGum, she's like, who is this fucking utter moron? And, like...
I was thinking...
It's just funny.
Oh my god. Yeah. My god, I don't think... Unless you're 12, I don't think anyone would... Like, I think everyone would agree that RiceGum is trash. Like,
I mean, you forget that he's best friends with Keemstar, Leafy, FaZe Banks, and a few other people. There are people that like him. Like, I don't know why, but they do, you know?
Oh, God, I can't... remember, like, yeah.
No, say what you're going to say, and then we'll move on.
I remember the first time I heard about him was, like, 2016.
Oh, you know, I used to be a fan of him. I used to be a fan.
Really?
Actually, I was subscribed. I was liking the videos, but then his content started slipping up a bit, and I was like, yeah, this is actually really bad.
No, I swear, what does RiceGum even do? I swear he's just made a career out of bullying people.
Okay, yeah, he made a career out of bullying people, and being a young, impressionable kid, I thought that shit was funny, right? Like, I was seeing people my own age get, like, bullied, and I was like, yeah, that's fucking funny, bro. But then he started making these videos where, like, the first 4 minutes would be dedicated to him bullying somebody, and then the other, like, 6 minutes, because you got to get to 10 minutes, would just be him vlogging, and I'm like, I don't care about any of this. Like, what? Like,
welcome back to why you look shit. And it's just fucking 4 minutes. Why do you plan that?
There was like this kid on Instagram, right? This kid who was like a little gangster. Like, he was making tweets about, like, bitches who suck his dick, and, like, posting videos of him smoking weed. He's like 12 years old, and he's got like music videos of him with like guns and shit. But to be fair, in his defense, he did have a disclaimer being like, the gang activity / guns in this video are not real. And it's like, okay, so he's not really like a gangster. He's just a bit of a rebellious child, right? And then RiceGum makes this 4-minute video, this 4-minute section of a video where he's like, this kid should not be doing this, blah, 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 blah. And then, like, giving these really exaggerated reactions to a kid tweeting about getting his dick sucked. Like, and then he's like, he sees a picture of the kid hanging out with Chief Keef, and he's like, yo, this kid knows Chief Keef, what the fuck? And then he just goes and does his shitty vlog, because apparently it's okay because the kid knows Chief Keef.
I mean, it's good as like a conversation starter to just sort of bully kids on TikTok, but as long as you don't actually, but actually doing like, okay, so let's start off with the intro, let's do intro music, then it's going to be a 4-minute section of me just roasting a 12-year-old. Like, you gotta have like some sort of like, I guess, like, I don't
common
know,
sense. You gotta
bullying a fucking child, man.
You gotta have common sense.
Yeah,
right,
that's what I'm looking for.
I'm done with this. Now, I have a very interesting topic, and I think we're gonna have a lot of fun with this. You ready?
Yeah.
So basically, what I like to do, and this, I am taking inspiration from Jar Media, except I would say that technically they kind of copied what I did unintentionally, because I'm the OG Madagascar fan. I just want to say that. Like, years before, when I was like 3, I was fucking drawing pictures of the Madagascar characters as different things. And then I see this podcast where they're getting questions from their fans, like, what Madagascar characters are this and that. So I thought I would dedicate a whole topic to Madagascar characters as different things. And I already have a pre-prepared list, but I want you to give me your answers. Is that cool?
Alright, okay.
Okay, so here's my first one. What Madagascar characters are famous YouTubers?
It had to be one of the penguins.
Okay.
Penguins, definitely. I feel like they would just do like a bunch of DIY shit.
No, but like, who are they? Like, are they like for example, is like Marty is KSI? Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So what is Skipper, Private, Rico, and Kowalski? Who are they?
Marty, he's very much the ringleader of it. I mean, it's...
Yeah.
God, I mean...
Do you want to hear my list first and just tell me if you agree or disagree?
Yeah.
Alright, we'll do it that way. So, so Alex the Lion is I'm Alex. You know, the lispy cunt. Basically just because they share the first name. Melman is Your Movie Sucks, or Adam from Your Movie Sucks. Gloria is Lele Pons. Would you agree with that?
I don't know. I feel like Gloria is sort of that more sort of bad bitch type, you know?
Yeah. What,
you know
like,
what I mean?
what you mean? Bad baby. Danielle Bagoli.
Yeah, more like that.
Okay.
I mean, Lele Pons is just, I don't know. Lele Pons, I think. Let's just get this out of the way. She sucks.
Yeah.
I don't think we need to go on that any longer.
We don't. Marty. I think Marty is probably Etika. They just kind of remind me of each other.
I can't wait till you get to King Julian. I wonder.
Oh, he's next. King Julian. I got him down as Logan Paul.
Oh. No.
And effectively, Maurice is Jake Paul. You know, his fucking side bitch, the little grey lemur.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then I think everyone's going to agree with this one. Deji is Mort. Like, annoying little...
The pipsqueak,
yeah. The pipsqueak. And Moto is Cali Muscle. Do you know who that is?
No.
Well, do you remember when RiceGum faked his Mailing Myself video? And he ended up at that big black guy's house?
No. I feel like I've heard this before, like just very briefly, but...
That's Moto.
Okay.
And then we're moving on to the penguins now. So, I got Skipper down as Ralph the Movie Maker.
Alright.
Private is Memulus, you know, the kind of annoying voice, just short little man type. I got Kowalski down as Vsauce, because they're both very smart. And then I got Rico down as the True Geordie.
True Geordie, I used to love watching him.
Because they're kind of like the big tough guy, you know? Like, the True Geordie's right, stop, everyone's gonna go home. And Rico's like, rah, 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 kaboom, kaboom, you know?
No, the thing is with True Geordie, I know he got involved with, like, the Logan and KSI fight.
Yeah.
But, like, if his actual content, his rants are so fucking funny. And I think it's just the fact that I'm invested in football.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's just so much better just watching him call everyone.
Mm-hmm. So, for the last two, you know the monkeys, Mason and Phil? You know, the monkey characters.
No, I can't remember.
Basically, I got FaZe Banks and RiceGum as Mason and Phil. And Phil is the one that can't talk, because out of those two, I guess RiceGum is the dumber one. So, you know. Would you agree with those? I mean, I know we disagreed about Gloria, so...
Yeah, I mean, actually, I can't remember too much about, like, just because I have a shit memory, but, I mean, Gloria, I could see, I can maybe see her being later on, just a sort of mainstream person.
Yeah. Alright, here's the next one. What Madagascar characters are famous murderers / serial killers? So I'll read you my list and you tell me if you have a different one or if you agree. So I got Alex down as Ted Bundy. You know, like a charismatic kind of leading man, right?
Yeah.
And then I got Marty as Jermaine Fuller, who was the peanut butter jelly time guy. Do you know who that is?
Was he a murderer?
Yeah, he was brother-in-law to Snoop Dogg, and there was like this big incident in Las Vegas where he ran around shooting a bunch of people. It's fucked up. Like, I love that song, you know? Like, and then, would you agree with that, or do you think there's someone else that Marty could be?
Actually, no. It's sort of like, I agree with that because they're both like very goofy.
Yeah.
Sort of like if you put yourself in a fucking banana costume.
Wait, I just got one. Hold on, listen. You ready for this?
Yeah.
It's Afro Circus Jelly time. Afro Circus Jelly time. Afro Circus Jelly time.
What?
And you know how Melman's arc in the second movie is that he's like an incel who gets really insecure when Gloria doesn't love him.
I can't remember any of that, but I mean,
I got him down as Elliot Rodger. And Gloria, I got down as an interesting one who you definitely haven't heard of. A woman called Leonarda Cianciulli, which is like an Italian name, and she was famous because she murdered people and then turned them into soap.
Oh, that is actually kind of clever, though. Yeah. I mean, it's like, imagine cleaning yourself with, like... who are victims first? I want to know, like, sort of like a...
I think it was mostly young men and women, like, kind of like the younger generation target.
Using a simp to clean you. But,
yeah.
I mean, Imagine just being in the shower, just like...
The key point is imagine Gloria cleaning herself with soap made of dead people.
I don't think Gloria cleans herself, though, so...
Bro, her ass cannot be that polished without a bit of soap, okay?
Fair enough.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I'm still like, that's like very economic and environmentally friendly.
Alright, so I got Captain Dubois as Myra Hindley. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, mostly, yeah.
You remember Captain Dubois, right? I know where the animals are, they are hiding at the circus. And you just got Frances McDormand doing that fucking hilarious accent, which is really funny. Yeah.
I briefly remember it because I watched... I don't know, I feel
like... The third movie's the best one, just saying.
Alright, okay.
Then for Mort, I got him down as John Venables, who was that guy, you know, that kid who killed that 9-year-old with his friend.
Oh yeah, I remember that. It used to be like
that's Mort.
The well-being conversations back, like the RS conversations about
they taught us about that shit when we were like 11. Like, that's fucked up. That's why I made this fucking horrific list about Madagascar characters as serial killers, because I got taught about them at such a young age. It's your fault, Fortersmere, that I'm doing this. I got Maurice down as an interesting one. He is a man called Samuel Little, who you might not have heard, but he confessed to 90 killings at the age of 78.
I mean, fair enough.
Yeah, because Maurice...
If you're...
He seems like a man who's done some shit in his past.
I mean, if you confess to 90 murders at 78, I mean, I feel like that should have been his last words. Like, just like, instead of, like, on his deathbed, just like, oh yeah, by the way, I killed 90 people.
So you're saying that you'd rather he killed some more people instead of confessing?
No, but it's like, I mean, revealing that you killed so many people at an old age is like, I mean, what are you going to do now? My life sucks anyway.
He's old. He's probably got like arthritis or something. Like, you know, he'll probably be dead soon. I don't think anyone's going to disagree with this one. King Julian, I have put down as Charles Manson.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And for Moto, I got O.J. Simpson.
O.J. Simpson.
Just like a tall, just kind of muscular, very arrogant, obnoxious person who no one likes, but is still like free to do whatever they want. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I had a conversation with someone about the O.J. Simpson case and how the jury, like, they use like a loophole in the jury. Like, if you're too close to the case, they reassign a new jury, basically.
Yeah.
Because everyone knew about it. It was very well known. So every single time the jury came up, just like, yeah, he did it. It's like, no, but you're too close to this, so you're biased. And then they eventually came to like a bunch of idiots.
Yeah, it's fucked up. It was the Chewbacca thing. Was that what it was called? Something like that. I can't remember. It was like the technique that OJ's lawyer used. It got the nickname like the Chewbacca something, and they parodied it in South Park, which was fucking hilarious.
Yeah. Oh god, and this is why we have fucking the Kardashians. Taking up time that taking up their time that nobody asked to do.
It's sad. And for the Penguins, I just got a bunch of random people. So Kowalski is Edmund Kemper. Skipper is Jerry Brudos. Rico is John Wayne Gacy, the clown killer. And Private is William S. Burroughs, who was like this tiny little man who still did a lot of murders. So, you know. Gang. And then for this is an interesting one, and we can do this at the same time, actually. So, what Madagascar characters are curse words?
Curse words?
Yeah. Like, what curse word defines one of the characters?
For Julian, I feel like it's something that you have to, like, you can say with a lisp.
Really?
Like, I don't...
I got King Julian down as Dick.
Dick?
Because he's just kind of a dickhead, isn't he? He's just kind of a dickhead. You know?
I mean, he kind of is, yeah.
I got Alex down as Asshole, because he's just kind of like an asshole. Like, he is just an asshole. You know?
I love how these lists are just based on your personal hate for Madagascar characters.
Wait, hold on.
He's fucking Ted Bundy.
All right, you do another one.
Let's see. Mort.
Yeah, what's Mort?
What would he be? Mort would be something that like a kid would say.
I got him.
Like a kid would.
I got him put down as bitch.
God.
Like he's a little bitch.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, bitch is that sort of gateway curse word.
Yeah.
That like 10-year-olds use in every sentence to sound cool.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can sort of.
I don't think anyone's gonna disagree with me on this one as well. I got Melman put down as a twat. He is just kind of a twat, isn't he?
Oh god, yeah.
Your turn.
Yeah, pretty much nothing else to say.
Oh. Well, I got Moto put down as cunt. I got Gloria down as fuck because for some reason a large number of Madagascar fans want to have sex with Gloria. So
why though?
Well, because furries are everywhere. So I got Gloria.
Yeah, I forgot that there's that section of the internet.
Yeah, and then I put Marty down as a bastard because he's like, you bastard, you know, like I love you, you bastard, you know.
Yeah.
I love you, MC Chungus, you big bastard. I got Maurice put down as bollocks. Private is just like bugger, you know, like a little bugger. Kowalski is a wanker, like a tall, smart wanker. Rico is shit because he's the shittest penguin out of the four of them, but I still like him, so whatever. And Skipper is just kind of a prick. Or would you disagree?
I agree on that.
Fair enough. All right, I got a really good one here. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, what are the Madagascar characters as infectious diseases / viruses?
I can't wait to see who gets COVID.
Oh, what do you want me to start?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so King Julian is AIDS.
Yeah, I can sort of see that. Yeah.
Alex is Ebola, because he's a lion in Africa. The penguins are the different flu variants. So like Skipper is A, Kowalski's B, Rico is C, and Private is D. Because there's 4 flu variants, so that works for them. Moto is gonorrhea.
Oh yeah, he's got that
green sperm vibe. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, let me just Google his what Moto look like.
Oh, have you forgotten? How did you forget about that Chad?
Yeah, it's that.
He just looks like he has gonorrhea. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he looks very unwashed.
Yeah. I got Marty put down as cerebral palsy for some reason. I don't know why.
Why would you fucking go into that? There's one thing. Why would you pick cerebral palsy?
He just seems like the kind of person that would have it. I don't know. Gloria is chlamydia because that bitch is definitely not clean. Melman is leukemia. Mort is lice because, you know, just like a little pest that just crawls all over you. I looked that up, by the way. Apparently lice, despite being a living creature, is technically like a virus or like a disease or whatever.
Fair enough.
Maurice is tuberculosis, just because he sounds like he's been smoking for 50 years. And Captain Dubois is coronavirus. I mean, do you oppose to any of those?
Definitely the cerebral palsy one.
Okay,
I feel like, yeah.
What is Marty, though?
Yeah.
I wanted to put him down as AIDS, but it just made more sense for King Julian.
Let's see.
Yeah,
I can sort of see that with the underbite.
What? What, Marty?
Yeah.
Alright. Marty's AIDS then, apparently. Alright, here's a good one. What Madagascar characters are Super Mario characters?
This is why I'm gonna suffer from just not being up to date in childhood stuff.
Wait, what? I thought you fucked with Mario.
I don't.
Bro,
I can't remember too much of it. I'll be honest.
All right, I'll handle this one.
I only played Mario Kart. That's pretty much the only thing I did.
When I say characters' names, they'll probably come crawling back to you. So.
Okay.
All right, so Alex and Marty are Mario and Luigi because Marty and Alex are like brothers, so it makes sense. Gloria is the yellow toad, the mushroom heads. Because if you actually fucked with Mario, you would remember New Super Mario Bros. Wii, where you could do multiplayer, and the third and fourth player were the blue and the yellow toad, respectively.
I got a good one.
All right.
Moto sort of looks like the sort of thing that like comes down and like destroys you. That makes like the sound.
Oh, you mean those weird pasta-looking grey things?
Yeah.
I mean, I like that.
It has that sort of sound to it.
No, I like that, but
yeah.
I originally... Well, I like that. Now that you've said that, I can kind of see that, but I originally put him down as Wario.
Yeah.
Should we say that he's both?
Yeah.
Alright, he's a double player. Then I put Mason the monkey as the blue toad. Melman is Waluigi. Like gangly and tall. Again, no one's going to disagree with this. King Julian is Princess Peach, without a doubt. Mort is just the normal red toad, because they're fucking annoying. Maurice is Bowser Jr. Skipper is Yoshi. Private is Pink Yoshi. Kowalski is Yellow Yoshi. And then Rico is Red Yoshi. And then Makunga, the villain from Madagascar 2, is Bowser. So,
Yeah.
And I had another one relating to Mario, but you don't fuck with Mario, so we're just going to skip that one. So, I have one left. You ready for this one?
Yeah.
What Madagascar characters are celebrity sex offenders?
Alright, okay, right off the bat, King Julius, Michael Jackson.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah.
Everyone agrees with that.
Has a soft voice, and yeah.
He just looks like a paedophile. King Julian. Alright, I got Alex. I put him as Kevin Spacey, like a leading man.
I never thought I'd be having this conversation with you.
All right. Do you have any other ones?
Not really. Just run a few past me.
Okay, so I got Gloria put down as Harvey Weinstein. Moto is R. Kelly. Melman is T.J. Miller. Again, I have copied most of these from the Jar Media, but I did come up with my own. Maurice is Drake. Captain Dubois is Amber Heard. I guess she's not like a sex offender, but she is like a Hollywood meanie. Johnny Depp's ex. Everyone hates her.
Yeah.
Rico is Bill Cosby because they can't talk properly. They should have gotten Bill Cosby to voice Rico. I got Kowalski put down as Jared Fogle, or the Subway guy. Do you remember him?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then
Jared from Subway.
I put Private down as Woody Allen. like a cute little man that you would never expect that kind of thing for. I don't know if you know who this. Do you know who Victor Salva is?
No. Let me quickly search him up.
Have you ever seen Jeepers Creepers?
No.
Well, basically, he's this director, and people like him for his Jeepers Creepers movie, and oftentimes people don't ignore the fact that he's a pedophile, but like it's not really explored. Like, you know, he went to jail, he did his time, and then he just went back to directing movies, you know?
Oh yeah, he's definitely got that.
Yeah, he looks like a pedophile.
Yeah, he definitely looks like a pedophile, and it's not just his mustache, it's the way he smiles, that sort of pursed lips.
In his fucking mugshot, he's got that smile. He's a sicko.
Very.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you know the old lady that beats up Alex all the time?
No.
From the first two. Basically, I just put her down as Jimmy Savile.
Oh god.
I don't know if you remember Teetsy, from the second Madagascar. He's like the big tall lion guy.
I can't remember. There's no way I remember that.
I'm just not gonna say anything. And then I put Marty down as Tupac. Because, you know, he went to jail for allegedly raping someone. So I feel like that makes most sense. That's all I had down, unfortunately, unless you've got some. Do you have a list? Do you have a list of Madagascar characters as different things?
No, I don't, but I'm trying to imagine, like, what would be a good topic.
Well, actually, I was going to use that as a segue for the big meat of the video, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, alright, yeah.
So, speaking of DreamWorks characters, hey,
and a lot of meat.
A lot of memes, also. We watched the Shrek saga. Before anyone asks, no, we didn't watch the Puss in Boots movie, but we watched all 4 Shrek movies. And the reason I watched them was because they were coming off of Netflix soon, so I was like, fuck it, I'll just watch them again. And
first 2.
Yeah, the first 2. And then I watched the other 2 because I was like, fuck it, why not? And then I basically bullied into watching them as well, because I felt lonely being the only person to stoop to that level in 2020.
I mean, you can't. Shrek isn't something that you stoop to. Come on, it's like,
I mean,
to be honest, I don't know. Watching Shrek after like 5 or 6 years, you get like a second appreciation for jokes in there that you just didn't understand as a kid.
I would definitely say that I really enjoyed it, watching it again, the first one at least. Yeah, I guess we'll just talk about the first movie. So, should we run down the plot? I feel like everyone's already familiar with Shrek.
Yeah. I think everyone's seen Shrek.
So, what do we think of Shrek? Shrek 1.
What do we think of Shrek? It's sort of like he's really free.
Yeah.
I know, he's like he just does not give a fuck about anyone. And I sort of rate that about him.
You've got that like genius introduction where you think it's gonna be like some fucking fairy tale, but then it's just like, nope, we got this ogre brushing his teeth with fly guts and fucking farting in a lake and itching his ass and bathing in mud and shit, and it's like, yeah, this is funny, I like this, you know. We got All-Star playing in the background, then the villagers come and he starts tormenting them, and yeah, it's just a good introduction. I think the first like 5 minutes of the film is really strong, like, talking non-memishly, like non-ironically, like genuinely.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it's good.
Shrek, it was quite revolutionary in the fact that it took like a very different stance.
Yeah.
On like fairy tale.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like the fact that it's got the perfect balance of like slapstick comedy, but not too much to like, oh, okay,
yeah.
that's very... It's like, alright, okay, what next?
Also, I think for the time, it actually looks great. Like, considering it's like a 2001 CG fest, it looks amazing. Like, the first Madagascar movie, which came out 4 years after Shrek, looks worse. And, like, the B movie, which came out literally, like, 3 years, like, I think maybe the same time around Madagascar, like 4 or 5 years after Shrek. And that movie looks fucking awful, you know? Like, the B movie actually looks terrible. But Shrek actually looks pretty good, considering the time. Like, there is, like, the occasional bit where it's, like, you know, a continuity error in an animated movie. Like, how do you do that? It's animated. Or, like, Shrek's foot might clip through something every now and then, which, as noticeable as it is, I don't think is that much of an issue. Like, you know... I like it.
Yeah. Seriously.
Wait, what?
I don't know. Oh, wait. Hold on. I don't know. Where were we going with this? Hold on. Should we carry on with the first movie? Because I feel like there's more to be like.
Well, yeah. We're gonna talk about all of them in depth, definitely.
Yeah.
I think one other thing is the soundtrack, which is like. It's very early 2000s, but that doesn't really bother me about it because it fits the film very well, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, in any other movie, All Star would be really lame because, let's face it, they're not a good band. Like, they're tolerable at best, but like... It's iconic because of Shrek. Yeah, like if these movies... I remember I was talking to Jackson about this ages ago. He was like... He was literally like, if All Star wasn't part of Shrek, like, no one would like them. And I'm like, yeah, that's true. Shrek, like, saved their career, basically.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. Supposedly, a rumor fixed the frontman's marriage, apparently. I don't know if that's true, but it's there. Do you have anything to say, like, do you have any in-depth ideas about Shrek?
Not really in-depth ideas about the first film. I feel like it tells like a sort of. I feel like all of them tell like a good. There's like a good moral to the story.
Yeah,
they're
very simple films. Like
they're very simple films. But
that's what's good about them. Like they're not too complex or like emotionally gripping. It's just like this is entertaining. You know, I'm liking what you're showing me. And...
One thing I did. Yeah.
No, sorry. What? No, you say.
One thing I do want to sort of like touch on a bit with like the first Shrek film is because I watched like 10 things that you didn't notice as a kid.
Yeah.
In Shrek.
Yeah. The fucking adult jokes.
Oh my god!
Like,
I don't know how they got away with some of them.
You know the film. It talks about like Lord Farquaad's dick a scary amount of times, or like alludes to it.
No,
Do you think maybe
it shows it a scary amount of times? Because there was a scene where he was like, "Oh, show me a picture of Fiona,"
and then he gets
he's like sipping
hard
a glass.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he gets hard, and then he fucking. Please.
Yeah, but then you got Shrek making a joke about him like compensating for something. And it's like.
Oh yeah, definitely. It was the castle. It was...
Yeah, and then they have that really hilarious scene with the fucking singing. Little people in that box and they think it's gonna like explode, and it's not like a cringy scene, it's actually genuinely funny. Like the song is cringy in a funny way. Shrek and Donkey's reaction is fucking hilarious. The picture that gets taken of them is pretty funny. Like I do think it's a genuinely hilarious film that had me laughing consistently, you know?
Yeah.
Like even the most basic of jokes, like Shrek shaking Fiona instead of kissing her, which was obvious, but it's like it's still funny, you know?
Oh, yeah, it's like they bond over like the quirky, edgy stuff. Like, oh, you're gonna love my something stew.
Yeah, and then Fiona, like, it's that kind of like it. I think at the time it was less common, but nowadays it's a very common twist. Like, the hot woman is actually kind of a badass, you know?
Yeah.
It executes it in a way that I think is kind of original and interesting. Like, Shrek is like, like Fiona is like a fucking ogre, you know, and I like that about the movie, and it hides it relatively well. I do have one issue with it where there's like a scene where, you know, when she's like, tomorrow, it will really take that long when they first meet, and they get her to sleep in that little cave, and it's like they should have seen her glowing like through the little wooden door they made, you know. But like, I guess they just didn't notice.
It's a simple plot hole, though.
Yeah.
It's like...
Well, like, for example, there's the scene where Shrek overhears her talking about a hideous, ugly beast, and you're like, really? Like, Shrek was just in the wrong place at the wrong time, I guess.
Yeah, that's the one problem I do have with some of the Shrek movies, is just some of the slapstick comedy is sort of like too... Like, it tries too much, you know?
Yeah.
Like those scenes where it sets off a chain reaction if you stumble on something, and then something gets flung to the other side of the room.
Yeah.
And eventually it comes to just, like, the whole... Or, like, the scene with the dinner, specifically.
Yeah.
Like, the parents and that.
There's a lot of convenience. There's a lot of conveniences, you know?
Yeah.
Forced conflict. And, like I said, like, when Lord Farquaad shows off, and she's just like... Yeah, you're right, he doesn't have any feelings. And she's like, I thought you would understand. And then it kind of confuses me. Is she upset because Shrek... Is she upset because she thinks that Shrek doesn't like the fact she's an ogre? Like, I don't really get it.
She's
like,
she's upset.
Am I dumb, or did I just not get it? Or is it just not well written?
No, it's quite obvious that it's like she's upset that Shrek is sort of like judging her for being an ogre and calling her ugly and stuff.
Even though he would never do that. Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
No.
And
speaking of Lord
Lord Farquaad, what? That scene where he fucking tortures the gingerbread man.
I mean, I was gonna talk about the fact that Lord Farquaad is basically Lord Fuckwad, but
yeah, that is funny.
I mean, that's...
Like, there's even a scene where Shrek knows it. He's like, can anyone tell me where this Lord Farquaad is? Like, he hesitates, so you can tell that even Shrek is like, is this guy called Fuckwad? What? Which is a pretty funny joke. It's like an in-universe thing, you know?
Yeah. And that's sort of like the stuff that they used to... A lot of the times with like 90s and early 2000s animation movies is that they'll so often like slip a joke for the parents.
Yeah.
Like, I think even in one of them, I can't remember, was it? Oh, I can't remember, but it was like a getaway scene, but in one of the windows, if you freeze frame it at one point, it has porn on the TV.
Oh.
Like, that was definitely some fucking dirty developer and like
and
dirty animator in the 80s, just like, hey, let me just put that in there.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the highlights for the first movie is probably the relationship between Shrek and Donkey. Like,
oh, yeah.
Even though Donkey's a fucking good character. Like,
yeah,
you might think he's annoying or whatever, but I think he's funny. I think he's interesting. Like, you can tell he's like been through a lot of abuse in his life, and you know, he finally finds this terrifying force, but he's just so desensitized it just doesn't scare him, so he can kind of just accept it for how it is, you know?
Yeah, he's a very likable character because he can sort of he can stay lighthearted even though he sounds like he's been through hell, and also he's like he's a really good icebreaker. Like, Eddie Murphy's voice acting in that was great.
Phenomenal, I would say.
Yeah,
because like I said, I think the voice acting in the first movie, well, in all of them, it's pretty good. But like the first movie in particular, Eddie Murphy is like fantastic. Mike Myers is like, he's pretty funny. Like, you can tell he's having a lot of fun with his accent and shit.
Yeah.
Cameron Diaz is kind of like, she's all right. Like, she's not the best voice actor in the movie.
I feel like she stresses things too much. Like,
yeah, like, I just don't think she's that talented, you know? Like, I've seen Sex Tape, and like I didn't find any of it funny or anything. I just thought it was fucking boring, you know?
Oh, I've never seen it, so I can't really judge. I haven't seen a lot of Cameron Diaz's stuff, so I can't really...
She's not that good. You know, she actually retired from acting a few years ago. She's officially
I did not know that.
out of the business, yeah. Like I said, I do feel like the romance in the movie is good, like when they build up their quirky little relationship. But for me, the real meat of the story is Shrek and Donkey, you know? And even Donkey's little love story is kind of sad and funny, you know? Like, with the dragon.
Oh, yeah.
That shit is
fucking
fucking
the dragon.
Hilarious. I love that, you know? And she fucking kisses Shrek's asshole.
I just remembered that. It was like...
Well, I have to save my ass.
Oh, God.
It's just so good.
Yeah, Shrek looks like a baby in that scene as well. Just like a size comparison.
Exactly. I think that might have been a little animation mistake, but, you know, whatever.
It's fun to see Shrek as a baby, though.
Oh, God. We'll get into that when we reach the third movie, but... Yeah, like I said, the first movie, I think the ending is quite nice. Like, I love the whole little Lord Farquaad getting fucking gulped, and, they get married, and it's and of course, like I said, they're playing Smash Mouth, which again, like, is the only reason that band is loved the way it is to this day, because of those two songs. Like, I Thought Love Was Only True in Fairy Tales, and of course All Star. And like, I've actually seen the music video to both of them. The All Star one isn't Shrek for some reason. It's like a movie called Mystery Men. I don't know if you've ever seen that, which is a kind of funny movie. And the music video for Fairy Tale is actually Shrek related. Like, it's literally Smash Mouth acknowledging the fact that the song is famous because of Shrek.
Yeah.
Which is
all I remember with All Star, the music videos, everyone in there has that early 2000s American blonde boy spiked hair.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know why that's popular. I feel like they're the sort of people that grow into that sort of the male version of the Karen cut. You know what I mean? Where everything's pointing up, but it's like it's buzz cut.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
White suburban dad.
I don't disagree with that. Do we have anything more to say about the first movie?
Not really. I don't think so.
Like I said, genuinely funny, kind of touching sometimes. A decent soundtrack that is quite dated, but still enjoyable. And, yeah, just a good, funny, and like you said, morally right movie. Like, morally it is very good. Self-accepting. So,
also,
no, what were you going to say, sorry, about the first one?
At the end, should we do like a rating? I mean, I'm pretty sure we're going to have the same sort of...
I was going to drop my rating now, actually. If you want to. I would give...
Oh, no, I meant like ranking the movies in order.
Oh, right, yeah, fair enough. Well, I give the first movie a 7 out of 10, for sure.
Yeah, I more or less agree.
Fair enough. Alright, so now on to Shrek 2. And,
Shrek 2,
this masterpiece.
Yeah.
For me, it was... I don't really know what to say. Well, obviously it wasn't as good as I remember, because being a kid, you love absolutely everything. But as a grown-up, or like I guess a teenager, you start to see things that you didn't see before that are like issues or whatever. But again, same as the first movie, this movie starts off really fucking strong. And you could argue that it is kind of the same thing, but, like, you know, they do the twist where you think that this fucking arrogant, cocky prince archetype is going to be our hero. But, you know, this is Shrek 2, so we have a gender-confused wolf laying in bed reading a book. And then we cut to Shrek and Fiona's honeymoon. And again, it's playing this really dated, kind of terrible music that you still kind of love because it's in the context of Shrek. And I actually have that song saved on my Spotify, Accidentally in Love. And it's a montage, and it's just damn good. Like, I'm loving what I'm watching, you know? Like, Shrek and Fiona are fucking in love on accident, which is just hilarious. You know?
I mean, you can't, the soundtrack sort of relates to the movie quite a lot. Like, the lyrics.
Yeah.
Definitely, I feel like, are really well chosen for the first and second film.
Yeah. And then, of course, you know, Donkey comes in and they get dragged to fucking far, far away in the most epic Are We There Yet montage ever created.
Oh, the iconic sort of...
Yeah.
The kid in the back. Yeah. The kid in the back.
And then Shrek,
Donkey is just the kid.
And then Shrek starts, like, mimicking him, and then he's just like, I'ma just stop talking! But then he proceeds to keep talking, and it's... And again, it's funny, because like it's supposed to be annoying, but I just really like Eddie Murphy and the character, so I can't help but not be angry, you know? Like, to me, it's just really charming.
I like a bit at the end when he's just doing the noise, and then you just sort of get that side profile, and then you see his 2-foot muzzle just, just robotically sliding in there. Being a cockblock.
And then Shrek just fucking screams. And it's just... Shrek screaming is genuinely hilarious. Like, to me, it's like the same level as, like, you know, like TGF Bro in like their earlier videos when they would fucking scream. It's kind of like that, only it's a green Scottish man, so it's funnier. It's funnier because you get to see his face every single time every single time he screams, and you get like a very detailed the character
look
design,
at every single crevice, every single bad
the character
tooth.
Design is just so good, like especially for Shrek. You know, he's just such a well-designed character. You know, it's like it's epic, basically.
He's got the dad bod. I feel like he has a. He's definitely.
Yeah. Also,
he actually looks. Yeah.
Going back to voice acting, I think John Cleese and the woman who plays the mum both do a stellar job as Fiona's parents. Like, the moment they're introduced, like, you instantly know what they're about and like, what their personalities are. And like you said, that scene in the dining room does feel kind of forced, and it's a little bit just kind of out of nowhere, and like, okay, this isn't really developed, and you are just kind of putting this on us. But like, you know, I can still appreciate it for what it is, you know? And Donkey, like I said, he does some funny shit. Like, when everyone's yelling at each other, he's like, Donkey! He just says his own name.
Yeah. He's, as I said, he's that icebreaker. It's like, he brings you out of the scene, and it's quite refreshing.
Yeah, and then, what I appreciate about the King and Fairy Godmother is they both have this thing in common, where they both hide their true selves in their opening scenes. But then the next scene, when you put them together, you instantly find out who they actually are, you know? Like, at first you think Fairy Godmother is this kind of helpful, but very much overly polite, like kind of too pushy woman, you know, like your godmother.
Yeah.
And you think the King is just this fucking asshole that doesn't care about anything except, like, basically the future of his kingdom, because the only real reason he really wants Fiona to like find a prince and like be happy and free of her curse is so that she can find a nice king to take over the kingdom, right? Like, that is very selfish. But then you discover not only is Fairy Godmother like this fucking evil bitch, and she's also Prince Charming's mother, you also discover the King is a very timid, kind of whiny, just scared little man, you know? Because he's just a frog trapped in a man's body, which is fucking hilarious. Like,
I think there's like an argument to be made about the Shrek movie as a whole, as like it being one of the best the best sequels.
Yeah.
One of the best sequels.
I agree that it is better than the first movie. But I wouldn't say it's like one of the best sequels ever made. Like, it's not quite The Godfather Part 2 or anything, but like, like speaking non-ironically, like ironically, it is like the best fucking sequel ever made. But speaking seriously, it is good. Like, I would say it's great even, but like, it's not one of the best sequels ever put to the screen, you know? Like,
I get what you're saying.
It's still.
I haven't actually seen the Godfather films. I feel like that should be like something.
Oh god.
I should
skip the third one. Seriously.
Yeah.
Just don't watch it. It's actually terrible. But the first two are great. But like, because the jump in quality, like, to me, I didn't really know what to expect. Because like you said, we haven't seen these movies in like years. So I just thought to myself, okay, it's probably going to be better than the first one. Like, most of the internet seems to agree with that. But my question was, how much better is it? And I wouldn't say I was disappointed, but I would say that I was kind of, I guess you could say, I don't know, like I just kind of accepted it for what it was. I was like, yeah, I really liked that, and it was better, but it wasn't really anything all that special. Like I can see why at the time it was so revolutionary, Yeah. But if it came out today, I still think it would be really loved, and I would still really love it, but I don't think it would be nearly as influential, Which is why I am glad it came out when it did. Like, it came out at a good time, Like,
I can agree on that.
It has that kind of simplicity to it. Like, oh yeah, Shrek becomes human, they meet evil cat that turns out to be nice cat, and the joke is that Shrek instantly gets along better with the cat than he ever did Donkey. But what I like about that is that Donkey and Shrek, despite the fact that Shrek and Puss do get along better, there is still that unspoken bond. Like Shrek and Donkey both change their physical appearances, and Puss doesn't.
Yeah. Speaking of the physical appearances, I don't know what it is, but Shrek's human form is actually less attractive than his ogre form. I feel like.
It looks really like he does. But I think that's the point. Like, he's supposed to be an ogre. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's supposed to be a kind of ugly man because that's not who he is. Like, he's a green sex machine, basically. Like, and he should be proud of that. And it's like you said, these films do have good morals. Like he should be proud of the green beast. He shouldn't try and hide it. And he learns that trying to appease the woman who he just had a massive falling out with. And my only issue with it is like you said earlier, the conflict is kind of forced, but it's still like worth the journey, I
feel like every single character has a good moral dilemma.
Yeah.
Like the king, sort of learning what's more important.
Yeah.
Future of your kingdom or your daughter's happiness.
Yeah. And
yeah.
That being said, though, like I think his wife Lillian, whatever her name is, like she doesn't really have that much of a story going on, but she's still like a really likable character. Like she is.
Yeah, she's a good support character. She like you'll never get like a full like alright. Like you'll never go deep into a character, but it's sort of.
That's a good thing.
She's likable.
Yeah. I like her when she's on screen. Like I said, I think the voice actress does a great job. And I think during the human bits, because this movie is like surprisingly fast-paced, if you know what I mean. Like, it was kind of over like before it ever really began, in a good way. Like, it went along very quickly. I was happy with the length and shit. And by the time, while it was going through that whole emotional beat of like Shrek being disappointed, like no matter if he's human or not, he still can't like impress Fiona or her family or whatever. It's like, I don't know, it's just entertaining. Like, I was never bored while watching it. Like, there were a couple moments that had me rolling my eyes, and like there were a few things that just I found generally to be a little bit disappointing, but it has that sense of humor, like the joke about the fairy godmother basically using fucking elves and shit in like slave labor.
I love the scene with the it's like, oh, do you have this insurance or something? Like, oh, they don't.
Yeah, they don't even have what is
that
it?
Was brilliant. That was fucking
dental. That's it. They don't even have dental.
Oh yeah.
That whole factory sequence is just amazing. Like, fucking Puss in Boots. Like,
oh yeah, and also the drive-through. The drive-through at Friar Tuck's was.
Oh my god, that is hilarious. But like, what I love most is Fiona actually thinking Shrek has become like this completely insanely arrogant blonde boy. Like, I get it's supposed to be like kind of sad and serious. Like, no, that's not Shrek. You're being tricked. You're being duped. But it's like, it's just really funny. Like,
I don't know. But the thing is, I guess it's just because of like the time the time it was released. But I don't get how some people find like the human Shrek attractive. Like, I don't know how he had so many fucking girls.
Yeah.
Like, fucking drooling over him.
Do you know what I
found? He looks like a thumb.
Yeah. Also,
he looks like
fun fact about the appearance changes. Apparently, while Donkey turned into that horse, because it's supposed to affect your true love, the dragon actually turned into some beautiful, like, unicorn type creature, like a unicorn swan beast or whatever. And
I never saw that. I never saw a dragon in the second movie, I don't think.
She's only at the end in the in the mid-credit scene. I don't know. Did you watch through the credits? Because she does appear.
Yeah, I do, but I didn't watch the end. Like, is there like, I have to admit, is there like a scene after the credits, or?
It's like a scene mid-credits, so they do the first bit of credits, and then they do.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
When they reveal that they had babies.
Yeah, and the only reason she didn't appear was because like, it basically would have been shoved in, like, oh yeah, the dragon is this now, you know. So like, they ultimately cut it out of the movie. But yeah, she turned into a different mythical creature, while Donkey turned into a horse. So, you know, that's pretty cool. And
also
the final battle is just epic. Like,
yeah, with a giant gingerbread.
The giant gingerbread man who then just kind of fucking dies, which I was always very sad about. And you got Fairy Godmother singing "I Need a Hero," and then she fucking blows up after the king sacrifices himself. And then Prince Charming just kind of fucks off, which is pretty funny.
Prince Charming, I forgot how he got out of that.
He gets headbutted.
He got headbutted?
By Fiona, yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
He got fucking cucked. But yeah.
Massive.
The second movie
massive bellend.
Also, yeah, the animation is slightly better, as to be expected, because I think Shrek was such a huge success. Like, they couldn't help but up the animation, right?
Because they put more of a priority on it. I don't think they did with Madagascar, because I don't think...
Oh, no.
I think they were sort of riding most of their hopes on Shrek.
Yeah, which makes sense and is reasonable.
Yeah.
Like, Megamind was a complete failure. The B movie was a complete failure. And
Megamind is only used to diss bald people, and no one remembers anything about it. That's all I can say.
Well, I really like it, but I can understand why most of the human race forgets about it.
Yeah.
Anything more to say about Shrek 2?
No.
Me neither. What is your rating?
I give it an 8.5 or a 9. I'm not sure. It's definitely... It's better than the first.
Yeah. For me, it's probably an 8, but like...
Yeah.
I would say it probably maybe borders closer to a 7 than a 9. So like...
Oh, okay.
It's probably like more like a... I guess you could say it's like a 7.6 or a 7.7, but like... On Letterboxd, I have it at 4 stars, and on IMDb, I have it as an 8. So, you know... Who knows? Maybe if I watch it again, it'll be a 7. Who knows? But it's an 8 for now. Now on to Shrek the Third.
Oh God! Third one's just so irrelevant. It's like.
Yeah, it's not good. Is the problem?
Yeah, no.
Like, I wouldn't even say it's bad. I would just say that it's like, it kind of exists. Like, you could probably remove the third movie, go straight to the fourth movie, and nothing would matter. You know?
Besides the king dying.
Well, yeah.
It's literally,
like,
yeah.
You could write...
That was the only good point in the film, I think.
Yeah, I think that was the only, point it had, period, was to, like, remove that character. Because I will admit that, unlike the Madagascar films, the Shrek movies actually do have a lot of effort put into them. Like, the first Madagascar movie is, like, insanely dated and just looks terrible. The second film is basically a rip-off of The Lion King, and the third movie is just nonsense, but it's entertaining nonsense. But one thing that like movies like Shrek or like Kung Fu Panda have is that they actually have a lot of thought. So like when you watch Shrek 1 and 2 and then you watch Shrek the Third, you're like, okay, I can tell that you cared, but you didn't really try, you know? Like, the third movie is genuinely, like, surprising in what a dip in quality it is, you know?
Yeah, it's just sort of like,
because again, it has a strong opening. Like, it sets up Prince Charming as the villain, right? Which is, for me, it's kind of like, it's very 50-50, because the point of Prince Charming in the second film was he wasn't like the real villain. That was the fairy godmother, and he was just like a joke character to be used as like a punching bag. Like, he gets beat up by Fiona, he gets cucked by the wolf, he orders like an axe from like a kid's meal or something. So it's literally saying like even a little child could have the axe. But in this movie, they set him up as like a serious villain, which again for me is a hit or miss, because he's mostly just there for laughs. But he does have like a motivation. Like, his mother is dead. He's been reduced to performing in some fucking club where people prefer the guy dressed in a cardboard suit. You know?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just, I feel like they tried too hard to flesh him out and make him an interesting character.
Definitely.
He's there to be a punchline and nothing else, I feel like. You didn't need to make a whole movie out of it.
Exactly. And then you have Shrek, where he's got like this royal life, and it is a funny sequence, you know.
Yeah.
But like, as soon as it's over, you just cut to Shrek having his ass scratched, and it's like, yeah, there was dirty humor in the first two, but in this movie it's just kind of childish. Like, haha, his butt is being itched. Haha.
Like, it's sort of like you run out. I've run out of things like the bonus Easter eggs, like Farquaad having a boner.
Yeah, like what actually is there in this movie that is like a hidden joke or whatever? Like, there's a joke about two kids getting high, like, haha, very funny.
Yeah. I think no, I got it. I'm not sure if this happened in the second one or the third one. It was the catnip scene.
The what?
That one, the catnip scene where they have it's like Law and Order, or like, it's like that sort of style where they bust down Puss in Boots and they find like a little baggie of catnip.
Oh, that was the second film. I didn't even mention what a great character Puss in Boots is. He's fucking great. And
Puss in Boots is actually my favorite character.
Antonio Banderas, I'd fuck that guy any day. Seriously. Like, his voice is just mwah. And his hair is beautiful. And like I said, Puss in Boots, like, that catnip joke is literally hilarious.
I just love the sort of like the American, like, speaking into like a walkie-talkie gag.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, suspect is found with 0.5 grams of catnip.
Wait, hold on. Sorry, the third movie is really shit. But like, going back to the second movie, there's that. We need to talk about how epic Pinocchio, the gingerbread man, and the other characters are. Like, they literally just show up, and then the joke about Pinocchio having women's underwear or something. And then
it's a thong. Wow.
And then he turns into a real boy for like 10 seconds. But yeah, back to Shrek 3. Like I said, it's like you said, like, there's that bit where Shrek's belt buckle breaks off, and like, it's like, it's not even that funny. Like, it's just kind of unfortunate, you know? Like, haha, he thought Shrek was Fiona or whatever. Like, you know, it's chuckle worthy, but it's not really all that hilarious. And then of course there's, what do we think of the death scene of the king? Because I actually kind of like it.
Yeah, I think it's good in that in his dying words you get another moral of the story, as if he was wrong to judge Shrek on being an ogre.
Yeah.
And that was quite meaningful, just in the general plot.
Yeah.
The Iz scene was funny at first, but then got tiring, like very tiring, because he was just like, all right, okay, so this is, he's gonna say it again, he's gonna say it again.
Yeah.
And he's gonna seem like he's dead, and then he'll come back to life and then say it very nonchalantly.
Yeah. But then you have the frogs singing "Live and Let Die," which is like an epic scene, you know?
Yeah.
We live and let die. Bam, bam. Good scene.
feel like the funeral's better than him actually dying.
Yeah. Sure. I think the funeral's better.
Yeah.
I don't know, what do we think of Prince Charming, like, rallying up all the bad guys? Like, I think that scene alone is kind of good. Like, again, I think if it was, like, a stronger villain, it would have been, like, really interesting. Do you know what I mean?
Like, yeah, you can't really take Prince Charming seriously just for the fact that you've seen him eat a fucking kid's meal.
Yeah. Like, okay, think about it this way. What if it was, like, a different character? Like, let's say it was, like, I don't know, Fiona's long-lost brother or something. Or, like, again, could have been, like, another cousin. Like, a cousin who wasn't Arthur, you know? Who, like, wanted the throne, but then Shrek came into the picture. And then he's like, he has this other cousin. So instead of Prince Charming just trying to kill this random kid, it's, like, the kid's own blood trying to kill him, you know? Like, there are so many ways you could have made it more interesting.
Yeah, fair enough. But the thing is, you have to keep in mind as well, this movie's for kids as well. So, I mean,
yeah, but so are the first movies. Like, the first movies are for fucking kids, and they still have all these adult jokes and these genuinely touching, funny, clever moments. And then you get to this film, which most of the time just kind of rehashes old ideas, and they're not that funny, you know?
Yeah, fair enough.
And one thing that distracted me about this movie was the pacing. Like, 1 minute something is happening, and then the next minute something else is happening. And I know that's, like, just what happens in movies, but this movie feels really weird. Like, just watching it, it doesn't feel natural. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I mean,
something about it just felt wrong. It was very strange.
It's more like the old cliche. One thing that was sort of fleshed out in Prince Charming, like rallying up all the bad guys, was the fact that he's like on this cliche of like the winners tell the story.
Yeah.
I thought that was an okay bit.
Yeah.
But it's just the fact, it's just the way he says it. It's like the way he delivers it is just like kind of terrible.
Yeah. Like I said, that scene on its own is fine. Like, it could do with a better character and slightly better writing. But other than that, I think it's a decent scene. Like, I love how they all just hate him, which is pretty funny. Like, what did he do? Like, he's just as scummy as the rest of them. Like, what did he actually do? You know? Like, is it because...
I don't know. I think it's just very unlikable.
Yeah, I guess so. That could have been a funny joke. He's so unlikable, not even the scum of the earth like him, which is pretty funny. And then, of course, you know, they all become good guys, and it's a nice moral. But, like, at that point, like I said, the movie feels so weird, and it's so, like, fucking cliche that you could have just seen it coming from, like, a mile away. And as nice as it is, like, you're not going, "Aw," you're just kind of going, like, yeah, I'm glad that happened, you know?
Yeah.
I'm glad that Shrek didn't fucking die, and that all these villains realize that they should be good guys, but, again, it's really cliched, and they could have done it in a more clever way, like they did with the first two movies, but, you know.
There was no sacrifice to it. It felt like there was nothing on the line. I felt like it was just Prince Charming having a hissy fit.
Pretty much, yeah. Because that whole scene, Shrek is mocking him, and...
Yeah, it's just like, oh, you should probably work on your aim.
And it's going back to the roots of the character, which I appreciate, you know? Because he is just...
So it just fails at everything.
Yeah, he's just a fucking punchline, you know?
Yeah.
And then you got his hoe, Cinderella, of course, who just likes him for some reason. Like, because I guess Cinderella is a fucking... Sorry, no, not Cinderella, Rapunzel.
Rapunzel, yeah.
Yeah, I guess Rapunzel is just a thought, so... She just fucking tags along to what he's doing, which was kind of weird. Like,
yeah,
came out of nowhere.
I don't get that.
It was just strange. Like I said, the pacing of this movie is just bizarre, and there are some funny bits. Like, I guess the dream with the babies is kind of funny.
Oh yeah.
The joke about the Viking guy saying "you're finished" with your journey. I mean, that was kind of funny, but like. There's one scene in this movie that is genuinely cringeworthy. It's when Arthur gives that speech to the gymnasium.
Oh, yeah, no. It's one thing I hate about this is the way that I just hate American high schools.
Yeah.
Don't know what it is about them. They're just very cliche,
annoying,
sort of just like
moany,
yeah,
whiny.
yeah.
Then you got that fucking Lancelot is his name. That dork over there is Arthur. And then there's that really stupid joke, like, yeah, haha, the nerds are the ones that gave him a fucking wedgie or whatever. And then it's like, he's like I said, it's cringe. He's like delivering that fucking speech, and it's like, you do realize that all of these 15-year-olds just don't care. Like, they're gonna forget everything you just said in a week, you know? Like,
I don't know. There's just something about this, like, oh, look at this kid. He's so nerdy and just like.
It's just annoying.
Yeah. Well, how many fucking nerdy kids have like a perfectly chiseled jawline? It's like every single fucking. I feel like this guy would just be that sort of like TikTok person.
Yeah.
That's just like, I'm such a fucking.
Also, how many nerds are voiced by Justin Timberlake?
Yeah. Why the fuck?
Yeah.
Why are you trying to
Like, I think what would have been more believable if, like you said, he was one of those kind of edgy kids that had like two friends, and like,
yeah,
you could have had some interesting conflict where he had to abandon those two to go become a king or something. But like,
it's just false.
This movie doesn't give a shit, you know? It's like, it's Shrek. Who cares? And like I said, it's fucking forced as fuck. And then we have the Merlin scene, which I guess is kind of funny. But like I said, the movie just rushes through it. Like, then the bad guys show up and they almost die, but then they don't die. And then they get teleported there. And then it is genuinely quite hilarious, the way Donkey and Puss swap bodies. Like, I thought that was quite funny.
Yeah.
But there was one thing about that whole sequence that genuinely pissed me off, which was when they were trying to talk to Pinocchio and he kept putting coins in. And I guess it was supposed to be funny. But, okay, first of all, the amount of time that the curtain stayed up for was inconsistent throughout the scene. Second of all, why didn't they just break him out then and there? Because they did that later on, but they didn't think to do that when they first found him. Because I guess Pinocchio just isn't important enough of a character. So, you know, like, what's up with that? You know? And to be fair, they do make up for it with a slightly funny joke where Arthur is like to the guards, he's a star, people, hello! And Shrek is acting like a spoiled actor or something.
Oh, yeah. I felt like I've heard that scene. I've seen that scene in like Brooklyn Nine-Nine, where they're trying to get into like some uber fancy.
Yeah.
Like,
those jokes are funny.
Hell, daddy.
Those jokes are funny. Also, I did just think of another subliminal joke. It's when they teleport and then Donkey is in Puss's body and he says, I haven't been on a trip like that since college, which was pretty funny, I guess. But then that just raises...
I think I skipped over that.
Yeah, but then that just raises questions like, do donkeys go to college in this universe? Like, I don't get it. This movie is just making the franchise worse.
I don't know, but the thing is, it's like...
Did you say you skipped over that?
Nobody watches Shrek because it's a realistic movie. They do it because it's different.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is the first... Yeah, but the first...
Everything's going to make sense.
Yeah, but the first two movies actually kind of, like, had rules. Like, it doesn't need to make sense, but as long as you have rules, then fine.
Yeah,
like, I'm willing to accept some things, but other things it's just kind of too far. And it's just for the expense of, like, a stupid one-liner that isn't even that funny. Like, it made me chuckle, but it didn't get a riot out of me. Also, did you say you skipped over that one?
No, I think I just didn't notice it. I didn't actually physically
I was about to say, did you actually start skipping through this movie?
No.
Okay, because, don't get me wrong, I was paying attention. I was noticing all the bad things, but, again, just because it's Shrek, it's like, yeah, okay, I kind of like this, you know?
I mean, I didn't skip filler episodes because I'm too lazy to click off.
Like I said, the jokes of Merlin are fine, I guess, and we haven't even talked about Fiona's subplot. What do you think of that? The princesses.
Fiona's subplot?
You know, her and the princesses.
The princesses. They were sort of forcing the strong female.
I mean,
no. Like the sort of badass sort of, if you know what I mean.
I would agree that
they're forced dialogue. I'm not saying that.
Okay, some of the dialogue is forced, but like I think those scenes alone are actually pretty good. Like
the scene with I think Snow White where she like rounds up where she like sings
that
and
was
gets the animals.
fucking amazing.
That was a really good scene.
I love that. And then they like use Sleeping Beauty to trip up those guys, and they make a joke about the ugly stepsister like having nice legs, but then she's like, "Hey, how's it going?"
I like finding out the queen. The queen was like amazing at
headbutting.
No, not headbutting. Just like an absolute warrior.
Yeah.
Like she's a really good character. I like seeing her just sort of like come out and just like, hey, you're all being just
pussies.
Yeah.
You're being the very things that you have, which is not good. And like,
hold on, wait, what?
There are some good jokes. Like, I don't know if you noticed, but when they open that secret passageway, it looks like the frog is kissing the horse's ass. I don't know if you noticed that.
I did not notice that.
That was pretty funny. And like I said, there are some good moments, like the gingerbread man's weird little flashback scene. But then you have the Pinocchio talking endlessly, trying not to lie, and it's not funny. It's genuinely irritating. Like, this is why he's a minor character. And
I don't know. It's just because Pinocchio has. It's like the cadence of his voice just is not pleasing to the ear.
And then you have that fucking stupid joke where the pig can't stand hearing what Pinocchio's saying. So he's just like, Shrek went to bring back the next heir. And it's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, he was just talking. He wasn't fucking raping you. Like, you could have literally just, I don't know, shut him up. Just been like, Pinocchio, just shut the fuck up. You didn't need to tell Prince Charming what was going on. You fucking dumb pig. Like, I don't know, this movie, okay, there's a lot going against it, but there are still things I like about it. Like I said, there is the occasional joke that just kind of had me like, yeah, okay, I can get down with that, you know?
Yeah.
But easily the worst Shrek movie. Can we agree on that?
Yeah.
This is the worst one. Do you have any more to say about it?
Not really. I sort of want to skip it because it's like
I've exhausted everything I have to say about it. Literally, if we talked about it more, I would just be listing off the occasional joke I liked or didn't like. Actually, no. One more thing. What do we think of the ending? You know, where he's got the babies and shit. It's kind of cute, I guess.
Yeah.
It's kind of cute.
Yeah.
And again, okay, well, I was going to point something out, but I'm just not even going to fucking bother. What would you rate Shrek the Third, as it's called?
5.
Same, I give it a 5 out of 10. It is.
It's just sort of unimportant. It's just there.
It's not good. It's average at best. But speaking of that, 5, there is an upcoming 5th Shrek movie, but before the 5th comes the 4th. Or the Forever After.
Forever After.
Can you imagine if it actually named itself Forever After? That would have been hilarious. I would have loved that.
Yeah, I can get down with the pun. Every once in a while.
What do we think of Shrek Forever After? Or Forever After, as I'm calling it.
I like the side characters' stories more than the main characters. Like, I feel like Puss in Boots and Donkey were probably the better parts of the movie.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I like the scene where it's just like, well, you're redonkulous. Like, that pun. That part I got sort of.
It is actually really funny.
Yeah.
There are some good jokes in this movie. Like I said, there's another subliminal one where he says, "My donkey fell in your waffle hole."
Oh yeah.
And I think
this is fresh in my mind because I had watched it today. So
yeah. Like I said, I watched these movies a few weeks ago, but they're still relatively fresh in my mind. I think I've remembered them fairly well. And being the one I saw most recently, well, like I said, the third one was the most forgettable.
Yeah.
I would say I remember a decent amount about the fourth one. Like, I remember thinking it was like better than the third one. And like you said, it's mainly because there are these side bits that are more entertaining than the actual story. Like,
yeah.
like I said,
Puss in Boots being fat was
it's just funny.
Definitely
it's
a
just,
highlight. It's sort of like
it's
it got fleshed out in the advert.
Yeah.
Than the actual main characters, which I thought was actually quite funny.
Yeah.
So I mean,
do you like how the gingerbread man is just a fucking psychopath in this alternate timeline?
I mean, I don't really have an opinion on it because it's so irrelevant. It's just he stabs his shoe
it ends with
twice,
Puss in Boots
eating
him. It literally ends just like that. Just Puss in Boots fucking eats him. The thing is, when I was a kid, that actually really upset me because the gingerbread man was always my favorite character growing up for some reason. I don't know why. And yeah,
maybe you were just hungry.
I would actually fast forward that scene because seeing him get eaten upset me so much. Like, I couldn't watch that scene because it was so traumatizing. And but nowadays it's just kind of funny. Like, the gingerbread man literally shows up to tell them what's going on, like the reward is mine, blah blah blah, and then he just dies, which is hilarious. And I like I said, this movie has a strong opening, but it does feel kind of forced, like with the third movie. Like, it suffers from that issue where, like, this was never mentioned, this was never like an important detail, but they just kind of like squeezed it into the timeline, you know?
Yeah, it's sort of like it feels like a filler episode when it's supposed to be the finale.
Yeah, and
it's sort of like it has no relevance because it just goes back.
Yeah.
Like,
and what I like about the first and the second and the third movie's openings is the first movie, right, it's like a twist. We think it's a beautiful fairy tale. Then the second movie recaps that beautiful fairy tale, but it's a lot more in detail. It's like, yeah, she turns into a fucking ogre. And then the third movie, it doesn't open on a fairy tale. It opens on Prince Charming's performing night, where he gets treated like a monkey by the audience. Yeah. And then in the fourth movie, it just reprises the first and the second fairy tale thing. Like, it's supposed to be like a callback, but it does just feel kind of lazy.
Like, I just remembered one scene that the fucking do the roar. The do the roar kid.
Do the roar. That is that.
No, I think the funnier. I know that the do the roar bit is like memed quite a lot, but I actually prefer the bit afterwards. Like, I love you, daddy.
I love you, daddy. That's funny. That whole scene as a whole, I like how chaotic it is. Like, Shrek just going insane. There's one thing about it that I don't like, which is I like when Shrek smashes the cake and he like stares at everyone. Like, it's very intense. It's like sudden. It's like you weren't expecting that, and it is like fucking brutal, really. But there's one joke in it I don't like, and again, it has to do with the fucking pig characters, where they just eat the cake, and then there's a drawn out joke where they're like, "No, where are the cupcakes? No, we ate them too. Lots you didn't share. Well, you didn't share the fucking cahoots." And it's like, just shut up. Like, these jokes aren't funny. They're just annoying. Like, I don't like the pigs. They're there to do the occasional funny bit where they're like, "Pigs in blankets," and then they launch themselves with a blanket. Like, when you give them too much screen time, it just becomes infuriating. Like,
I was the same with Pinocchio. It's just, if you have an infuriating voice, everyone's gonna be pissed off if you get too much screen time.
Unless it's Rick and Morty.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
But like, for Shrek, like, because it is a children's film, so the more children's stuff you have in there, like, the more insufferable it becomes. Again, because the first two movies are really clever, and like I said, I still think the fourth one is a good movie, but
I feel like DreamWorks films now are sort of just milking that kids' money.
Yeah, well, like, did you see?
Like, we have to be appealing to kids. We'll make the movies boring as fuck. Yeah, it's basically just clickbait.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah. Well, have you seen the second Trolls movie?
No, I haven't seen any of the Trolls movies.
I want to watch it just for the fucking meme of it, because it actually looks awful. You know, it was the first movie to, like, ever, like, because it was supposed to be released in cinemas regardless of the coronavirus, and it was the first. That's a bad idea. It was the first ever movie where, on the day it was supposed to come out in theaters, they at the last minute switched it to digital. So it premiered on digital. And I'm just imagining the disappointed people that didn't, like, imagine the people that actually risked their lives and bought tickets to the movie just to, like, for the meme of it. And then they just realized, oh shit, it's coming out online. Fuck. I couldn't even do it for the meme of it.
Imagine breaking lockdown to see fucking... What was it again?
Trolls World Tour.
Trolls World Tour.
Yeah.
Imagine...
First ever
having to have...
oh, no,
imagine having to have, like a FaceTime funeral.
Oh my God.
Like... of your granddad who passed away from COVID.
God.
And there's some fucking cunt outside doing the conga. That's like a meme that I saw online.
Yeah.
But it sort of extends further. It's like, imagine all this terrible shit happening, but also you're wasting it. You're like, oh, let's watch Trolls 2, just something that just sounds so wonderful.
It's literally like, it's exactly the same as the iconic cult movie Troll 2. You know, the so bad it's good, often considered to be one of the worst movies ever made.
Yeah, I can sort of get that.
I wouldn't be surprised if Trolls World Tour was actually worse than Troll 2. And Troll 2 is actually terrible. Like, I couldn't even give it like a 10 out of 10 as a meme. I literally just gave it like a 1 because it was just so bad. But like I was saying, Shrek 4, God, it's that fucking bad. We just started talking about trolls.
Oh god.
Okay.
Okay, no. One thing we haven't mentioned: Rumpelstiltskin.
Okay, all right. I was just about to say that.
I do not fucking get this guy. I don't get how you can have so much fucking military power.
He's just
so
a spoiled. He's just a spoiled brat.
Like a fucking rotisserie chicken.
That's literally his character. He's a spoiled brat.
Yeah.
Like, he just wants the kingdom because he lives in this fucking trailer park with like these witches and.
I have to admit though, he's got that Gollum look with the Ricky Berwick voice.
I like that about him. His voice and his design is good. Like, it's new because like it came out like 8 years after the first Shrek movie, so they've like upped the character design a bit. Like, you can see in like the second and the third movie in particular, the character design of like the civilians isn't that good, but in this movie it's definitely better, which is one thing it does have above the last two, that the background characters and such things do look better. Like, they give the witches like a new fresh design where they have like pale skin and black clothes, and the textures on the main characters look better, and overall it just looks more cinematic and fresher and newer.
Can we talk about the Ogre clan and how they got absolutely done by the bounty hunter, the flute?
I do want to say something first, and
oh yeah, go ahead.
Despite how good the character design is, it is also really fucking annoying, because in Shrek the Third, like, Rumpelstiltskin, like, the one in Shrek the Third and the one in this movie are just completely different characters. Like,
yeah,
they look nothing like each other, they act nothing like each other, and again, it's just boiled down to the writers just not really trying, I think. You know?
They're trying to flesh out characters that don't matter.
Yeah, and I do think Rumpelstiltskin, like you said, I don't really get him. Like, he's just kind of a funny villain that's, like, just made to fail. Like, there's not really that much else to him. Like,
yeah.
You know, he gets kicked out of a library by a fucking puppet. Like, come on, mate. How low are you? You know? Like... But yeah, are we going to talk about the Ogre clan and how, like, they've never been mentioned before? They just showed up in this movie in the alternate timeline, and yeah. The whole scene where they had to do the dance routine. Yeah, I like that scene. I like it. I think it's a decent...
I love how there's like that one righteous guy.
Yeah.
The one righteous guy in the clan,
and he's enjoying the dancing. He's like, what's his name again? Cookie.
Oh no, no. I wasn't talking about Cookie. Cookie, I like.
Yeah.
Cookie.
I think all the ogre characters are pretty good. Like, I like the woman one. She's pretty funny. Like, her sassy, like, it works on me. And the leader one is pretty cool, I guess.
The leader one was just sort. he was like,
he's a bit generic, but I still like him regardless, you know?
Fair enough.
Yeah. Yeah, I quite like the little twist they give Fiona's character, because like in the last few movies she's like a nice girl, but she has like an edgier side. But in this movie she's an edgy girl, but she has a bit of a softer side. You know, like it's a cool little contrast. But again, my problem is I just don't think Cameron Diaz is that talented of an actress. Like, the only movie she's really been good in is The Mask, and that's because she was assigned a role that was very intentionally, like, quite generic. She's like an attractive blonde woman, you know? Have you ever seen The Mask?
No.
Yeah, she's the love interest. She's good in that movie, but, you know, whatever. But yeah, it's still. Do you like how Shrek basically tries to fucking rape her? I thought that was kind of weird.
Yeah, no, that was bad. The whole trying to just Shrek trying to.
He's not.
He's basically eat her face.
He's not very smooth, is he?
No, he's not. He's not built for that sort of.
Yeah.
He's built to sort of fuck it up by being this green beast.
Yeah, pretty much.
That doesn't give a fuck about anyone.
Yeah, and then in this movie he has like his little midlife crisis arc, and like, I get it, like you have to do something for this movie, and I guess that makes the most sense, but like, just why? Like,
I don't know why. I don't know. For one thing, I don't know why these characters don't like take more caution whenever they have like a potion or something.
Yeah.
Or contract.
Yeah.
Like, why do you think that this person is obviously, there's like a very ominous vibe with them.
Yeah.
And you're just like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
Shrek should have got his lawyer before he started reading some shit about.
He should have gotten that guy who said you don't have to change your undies to change the world to defend him.
Yeah.
Because that's a really good allegory. You don't have to. That's actually quite a good setup to the events that transpire. As bad of a joke as it is, you don't have to change your undies to change the world, you know? And what do we think?
Although it is fucking recommended.
Yeah.
Wash your nasty hands.
What do we think of the opening montage? I kind of like it.
It's alright.
It's okay.
With the kids and just sort of going. It reminds me of that SpongeBob scene where Squidward finally gets rid of SpongeBob.
Yeah, and he lives in Squidville. That episode is really fucking dark. Like, I actually watched like a video analyzing the deeper themes and messages of it. It is fucking depressing. Like, no matter where Squidward goes, he'll never be happy. Like, it's just sad.
Oh god.
But yeah, someone hooked that boy up with some Xannies. Like, seriously. But yeah, Shrek Final Fucker, whatever it's called. I like the ending. I think it's kind of cool. Like, he's like, I'm turning myself in, you have to do what I want. I think the Pinocchio joke is kind of funny, because like I said, that character works in small doses, and I love when he tries to fucking sell his dad, just because earlier on Rumpelstiltskin fucking spilt ink all over the paper or whatever. Yeah. Like, I don't know. Also, do you like how Rumpelstiltskin in all the adverts has like that big hair, but he only wears that wig in like one scene? Bring me my angry wig.
I don't know. It just sort of fleshes out how the fact that he's just a spoiled little brat.
Yeah.
His character's so unsettling. Just like
again,
the voice. That's the reason why it's well done, because they make him seem so fucking off-putting.
The motivation is shit, but like the actual character is decent. You know, like, as a kid, I found him to be like a presence in the movie. Like, I thought, yeah, this is a character that poses an actual threat, you know, even if his need to doing so is kind of weak. Speaking of that, one thing about this movie that kind of pisses me off is Donkey and the way he's characterized in the new timeline. Because the point of Donkey is, like you said, he's so scarred from like all the abuse he's had over the years.
He's numb and he doesn't judge Shrek for being this.
In this movie, he's just an asshole. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, surely he would have had an even tougher upbringing, considering the fact that Rumpelstiltskin now rules the entirety of the kingdom or whatever. So, like, why is he not more desensitized, you know? Like, what's up with that? But to be fair, again, like, with that, you do have, like, there is that joke where he's like, it's time to pay the piper, and he's like, literally, go get my checkbook, and that is a slightly funny joke. And then there's that bit where that woman's like, maybe we can hire a professional bounty hunter, and then he melts her, but then he's like, yeah, that's actually a good idea. And then Donkey does have the occasional funny moment, like, try, lose, bliss. which is
also him talking about his babies was quite good.
Oh yeah, that was funny.
Just no matter what's happening, he's just like, by the way, are they unsettling, or are they just right after Shrek just gets completely beaten up?
Yeah, that's funny. Again, there was that one bit. What's he say? We're having curly toad weirdo for breakfast.
Yeah, that was sort of very cliche.
Yeah. What do you think of that ending? Like, where Fiona finally falls in love with him or whatever?
I mean, I don't think it's very realistic how that would.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think
they just fell in love with each other because they got locked up together or whatever. Because she fucking hated him. Like, she blamed him for Rumpelstiltskin getting away with all her clan and shit, and like, she gave she basically fucking proved that she doesn't love anybody anymore when she kissed him, and it didn't work. Like, I guess they just bonded because they defeated a dragon or something. Like, okay, sure, but yeah, I don't know. I guess you can boil it down to they're destined to be together or whatever. So they just fall in love conveniently at the right time, you know, like. And then it does lead to that epic moment where Shrek doesn't crush the cake, and then he teaches his kids to do that weird thing with the ears, whatever it is.
Yeah, I don't know. Something that's sort of a bit meh with the writing is when Shrek tries to be sentimental, it just doesn't fit his character.
Yeah.
I don't feel like.
Yeah.
Shrek is that sort of person that just doesn't give a fuck. Like,
I guess you could say that being a father did that to him. Like, you know, like I said, it doesn't match the character, like what he's supposed to be, but it does make sense given context.
Yeah, it's character development, but I feel like it's a bit forced in the way he says it. But that's not really important. It's just like, that does not sound like Shrek. That just sounds like...
It sounds like something Fiona would say for Shrek, you know?
Yeah.
Except she can't because she's not in love with him anymore. But like, what about that whole closing montage where the Pied Piper basically is just a good guy in this universe for no reason? And again, going back to the first movie, they completely changed the character design. Like, if you see the Pied Piper in the first film, he looks nothing like how he looks in the fourth one. And I know it's a minor detail, but to me it is kind of just like, that is really jarring, you know? Like, as someone who keeps up with it and everything.
Well, the thing is, like, when you first see them, they're not really that, so you just sort of skip over them because there's more details. So when it actually gets into fleshing them out, I feel like you can get away with changing the design a bit.
Maybe.
Especially if you're going to make them important.
Well, it doesn't really affect...
You have to make them have a presence.
Well, it doesn't really affect my score. It just kind of, you know...
Yeah.
It's just something I would point out. My score would still probably be the same, whether that issue was there or not. But, like, it's certainly distracting. The whole closing montage, as a whole, it's kind of fun. Like, I like the joke where the witch is basically riding Pinocchio's nose or whatever, because I guess and then they're all in the mud, and they're making mud angels, and I guess the ogre clan are friends of Shrek and Fiona in this universe for no reason, despite never being mentioned before or anything. And then his fucking bird blows up, which was pretty funny. And I think, as a conclusion, it is good. You know, like, they have Stevie Wonder in the background of the credits and such things, and the visuals are okay. Actually, no, the end credits to this movie look worse than I remember. Like, they're not actually bad, but they just feel kind of cheaply edited. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's trying to be cool, but it does look kind of cheap. Like, the way they copy and paste Shrek talking about onions into the credits, you know?
Oh, I didn't actually see that. I think once I got to the credits, I just clicked off.
The final shot in the credits is the bit in Shrek the Third where they're kissing on the stage after defeating Prince Charming, and it is nice, but like I said, when I was a kid, it looked much better for some reason. It looked not as good now. And they also do that thing where they really obviously re-edit the song to have one line be repeated so it can actually match the length of the credits, which is pretty funny. So you just have Stevie Wonder repeating the exact same line, sounding the exact same. So, you know. For once in my life, I have someone who needs me. For once in my life, I have someone who needs me. You know?
Yeah, I didn't really stay for the end credits, so, I mean...
Good song, though.
Yeah.
I like that song. What do you give the fourth Shrek movie?
6 out of 10. It's not as bad as the third one.
Yeah. I would say a 6 out of 10 as well, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's not a terrible movie, it's not a great movie, but like... I think as a conclusion, it's good, you know?
Yeah. I just realised that, yeah, there was no point doing the ranking because we all agree it's 2, 1, 4, 3.
The what, sorry?
The ranking of the movies is 2, 1, 4, 3. We already did the ratings.
Oh, yeah. 2, 1, 4, 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, so second's the best. First is the second best. Fourth is the third, and then I guess the third is just the worst. So
yeah, I heard an interesting point of view that they could just like do away with the third and fourth film, and you could just watch the first two and just not do anything after that.
Yeah, I would agree with that, to be honest, because the second movie on the DVD it has Far, Far Away Idol, so you know, featuring Simon Cowell, by the way, who was in the recent Scoob movie also. Which was really jarring. Simon Cowell is just in it for no reason. And then it's revealed that he was Dick Dastardly the whole time. Oh, that movie is stupid. I like it, though. Well, I don't like it. I much prefer the live-action Scooby-Doo movies. Yeah, so those were the Shrek movies. Actually, do you want to briefly predict the fifth movie?
Let's see.
What are our predictions for the fifth movie? Because I'm hearing all kinds of reports. Either it's going to be a direct sequel to the second one, it's going to just be a fifth movie, it's going to be like a soft reboot or a complete remake. Like, I'm confused. Like, what the fuck?
I don't actually see too many good remakes.
Yeah.
Good remakes happening.
You know, the guys that made Despicable Me are making it, which is kind of concerning because their movies really are not good.
Oh god.
Like Hop is fucking cancer. Minions is
terrible. Really don't want to think of the day when
the Lorax
boomers are starting to use Shrek in their Facebook memes.
The Lorax is fucking garbage. The first Despicable Me movie is pretty good, I guess. The second one is fine. The third one is just not good. The Secret Life of Pets is genuinely just kind of annoying. Sing is genuinely awful. Like, what is a movie they've made besides the first Despicable Me movie that you could actually argue is of decent quality? Because like I said, the Lorax on the surface just seems like a forgettable kids movie, but then you see it's like got sponsorship from like gas guzzling cars and like disposable diapers, and it's like a movie about the dangers of capitalism and shit. Like,
yeah,
it's just fucking retarded. It's infuriating.
I don't really like a lot of films these days, especially when it comes to animation and stuff, because it's mainly geared towards kids. They sort of lost that all-round family audience.
Yeah. Well, you never know. The fifth Shrek movie could be really good. Like, they're bringing back they're bringing back the original cast and shit. Like,
I have to admit though, I think it's going to be a bit of a disappointment just because they're gonna have to censor it.
Yeah.
Like, they're gonna have to censor the sort of jokes.
Yeah, because like
you
I
could
said,
get away with in the 2000s.
Because Disney does this really scummy thing where they get like cartoons from like the 1940s and they like completely edit out the racism, which I think is wrong because like, okay, put a disclaimer at the beginning of the DVD or whatever saying this is a product of its time, right? Like that's what Warner Brothers do when they play like outdated racist Looney Tunes cartoons. This is a product of its time. Or they just don't release it because it's too offensive. But Disney actually try and pretend like they never did any of that shit. And it's just kind of disgusting. Like, that's like Song of the South. Song of the South still exists. Like, you can't pretend that that movie doesn't exist.
Oh, yeah. The South definitely does exist. Like, have you seen what's the fucking shit that's happening right now, the riots?
Yeah.
Like, it's that sort of racist southern part of the community.
Did you see there was
still very much alive?
Did you see there was an old man who tried to return a police officer's helmet and they pushed him over and he was bleeding from his ear?
Oh yeah, I mean, like that's not like the worst thing I've heard.
Yeah,
I've heard of.
That was.
This is just like endless clips of like police just like beating the shit out of people.
I think
doing anything.
I think they're enjoying it, genuinely.
Yeah, I mean, oh god.
Because let's face it, the police, they've been waiting for something like this because things have been calm for a few years. There hasn't really been like that much of a brutality, and now that like people are getting angry.
Now they're shooting.
Now
they've got the jurisdiction to shoot pregnant women with rubber bullets, and now they're sort of just.
Jesus.
It's just.
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if they shot a woman with like a real bullet, like a pregnant woman, and then were like, "Oh, I misplaced my rubber bullets or whatever." I would not be surprised.
That actually, to be honest, that does sound like it because they were trying to. I think with the autopsy, they were trying to claim that it was because this guy was on drugs. It's like, no.
Okay. Let's just address this. Okay, so George Floyd was, let's say, maybe reasonably high on whatever it's called, fentanyl or whatever, and he had he had a heart condition, right? But that's completely irrelevant. He died because some guy kneeled on his fucking neck until he was unconscious. You know?
Yeah. His death wasn't caused by fucking like a tiny trace of this drug. It was caused by because you fucking. Yeah, you said it.
If it was his heart condition, he would have died in like literally a minute and a bit, but he died in like 9 minutes or something. So
people just suit themselves whenever it happens. They're just like, oh well, this happened to us, obviously.
And then the people are like uploading like deleted footage of like the guy in the car behind George Floyd saying like here he is resisting arrest, but like you can't even really see what's happening because the police officer is in the way, so it's not really evidence that George Floyd was resisting arrest or anything. So like, you know, release the body cam footage, you know? Like,
oh yeah, they just conveniently has like a technical error or something to stop.
Much. You know, that's the reason that people who disappeared like 40 years ago still can't be found. Like, there was this woman called Tammy Lynn Leppert, and like maybe, just maybe, they could have found her today if they like kept better care of her dental records, but they like lost them due to poor storage or something. So she's still missing and probably dead, to be fair. Like, this system is just fucking useless. I swear to God.
Yeah, no, it's really fucking bad. In America, it's because police in America are just way worse than the ones in the UK.
Yeah.
I have to admit, the ones in the UK are bad.
Yeah.
It's not like it doesn't exist in the UK, but in America, they full on. It's just so brutal.
Pretty
much.
Yeah.
Like they have the power to fucking kill you, and you won't. And if you're not in a position, if you're part of like working class or like the lower class, you just won't get justice for it. That's just how things work down there.
Yeah. It's
fucking sick.
Yeah. Oh well, America will be America, and it will probably collapse sooner than we think. So. To those who aren't involved in the conflict and just trying to live their lives in this dying state, I wish you good luck. I really do.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, they're the ones that are suffering the most. Just normal people who aren't getting involved in riots or anything. Like, they're living in a dying country, you know?
Yeah.
Like, they'll all be affected by it soon enough.
It's just sickening how they can just sort of exploit, like, the vulnerable.
Yeah.
This is how Trump just... I'm tired of getting... No politics from now on.
Why don't we divert into the Q&A section?
Yeah, let's just go quickly into that.
This is the Q&A section where I come up with questions, because whenever I ask for questions, I never get them. So, yeah. Okay, so, first question, right? Okay. Who would you turn into a chicken sandwich, and who would you feed them to?
Who would I turn into
Yeah, and who would you feed them to?
Oh, God.
I asked a similar question in the last episode, which was a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, but this time it's a chicken sandwich, so, you know.
It's like, I did not expect that to be the first question of the Q&A. I was expecting, like, some dull question, not like, oh, who would you turn into this and make them feed it? God,
just answer it.
Who would I get to munch chicken that's actually their family member? Oh, God. Yeah, I feel like if you feed someone to their family member without them knowing, that's like some next level shit.
Yeah. Okay, I'll give you a minute.
It's like the vines of, like, people serving McDonald's chicken nuggets to, like, pigeons.
Yeah.
It's just sort of that. I feel like that's the easy option to feed someone to their own family member.
Mm-hmm.
Does it have to be, like, someone, like, you know, or like, a celebrity, or what?
Anyone you want.
Anyone I want?
Yep.
Fictional or not? Alright, okay,
Well, it has to be real.
It has to be real?
Yeah.
Oh, God,
I'm not gonna let you turn Naruto into a chicken sandwich and feed it to your sister.
Oh, God,
Boom.
I don't have an answer to this. It's just so far out there as a question. I don't fucking know what it is.
I have an answer.
Alright.
I would turn Piers Morgan into a chicken sandwich, right? And I would feed him to Dominic Cummings. So basically, I'm giving a deformed chicken sandwich to a twat who has no choice but to eat it.
Oh, God, why?
There we go. Alright. Next question. Alright, next question.
Alright.
Okay. Would you rather smoke... Sorry. Would you rather eat a worm-infested apple or take 3 hits off of a Jeffrey?
What's a Jeffrey?
So a Jeffrey is a joint, sorry. Mostly full of weed, but it has many other things in it, including, but not limited to, heroin, cocaine, crushed up ecstasy, morphine, peyote, some other stuff I'm forgetting, and a whole bunch of stuff that's unidentifiable.
So basically, I mean,
probably
the like a worm-infested apple. I mean, I feel like I've gotten that past that sort of eel stage because I've bitten into a McNugget and found a worm in there before. So.
Oh my good God! Don't say that.
Yeah, we'll fucking say that.
No.
If someone watching this is queuing 3 hours for a fucking 6-piece chicken nugget set, I found a worm in mine. How's that? Now you just wasted your time, you fuckwit.
Well done, man. I don't know about you, but I'll take a hit of the Jeffrey.
I feel like a hit of the Jeffrey would genuinely kill you.
I think you'd be
like
okay.
The apple would sort of gross you out and make you sick, but I don't like.
Yeah, but you're eating
the
worms.
Jeffrey would be like lethal.
Yeah,
like...
but I mean, if you smoke it properly, then it should be all right.
Oh, should I just like keep it in my mouth and just like do it the complete wrong way, just so I don't have to deal with the consequences?
Well, if you do it the wrong way, then it'll probably fuck you up more.
Uh,
If you're smoking something filled with that many drugs wrong, it will probably fuck you up more than if you smoke it right.
Oh, fair enough.
Okay. Alright, next question. Would you rather share a room in a small flat with a very unpredictable homeless person, right? Or Boris Johnson?
Homeless person, definitely. I mean, at least you're helping someone.
Yeah.
Boris Johnson is like,
Your roomies.
He just... Oh god, I feel like he would just be such a twat. Like he would just speak down to you the entire time.
Yeah. Fair enough. I would probably room with Boris Johnson, and I have a good reason. Because...
And what's that?
Basically, there was this one time where there were all these paparazzi outside of his cottage in the countryside, and the first thing he did was bring them all a cup of tea. So...
Oh, yeah.
I feel like he would be like a handy roommate. Like, hey Boris, you wouldn't mind making us a cup of tea, would you? You'd be like, yes, I would not mind at all. I was quite fancying one myself, actually. So,
yeah,
make me
morally I would take the hobo in, just the homeless person in. Because
I've heard way too many horror stories about homeless people.
Oh, yeah.
Like...
But Boris is like that sort of uber rich. Like he went, like you can tell just from the way he speaks. This man.
I think that would be. I think that would be an interesting contrast because he's like this uber rich politician, but he's living with me in this shitty little flat.
Oh yeah.
So when he comes home, I'm just like, "Hey Boris, how was life?"
In Downing Street, we didn't have these type of. We have the ones that.
Hey Boris, how was defending Dominic Cummings and lying for him? He's like, oh yes, it was most productive. I think the Tories are really on his side. You know. I'll just be like, yeah, you keep believing that, mate, and I'm gonna.
So, are we allowed to go outside or not?
Well,
go outside. Don't go outside.
I'm not because I'm grounded, but other people are, I guess. And that actually leads to my next question: is what is the most you've been punished by your parents?
Most I've been punished by my parents.
Yeah.
See, I don't want to say too much. Nothing sinister.
All right, nothing sinister.
Like, nothing sinister. I feel like the worst thing. I sort of get the same reaction, so I'm sort of numb to it.
Yeah, fair enough. I struggle literally. I'm not numb to it. Like sometimes I am, but sometimes I'm not. Like it really depends on my mood, I guess. Like let's say I'm trying to watch let's say I'm trying to watch SpongeBob and then I just hear my mum and you can just tell by the tone in her voice, the way she says come here please. It's like ugh, for fuck's sake. Like I'm trying to enjoy myself. Like
it's the most privileged shit I've ever heard.
What?
Hey mom, I'm watching fucking SpongeBob.
Fuck off.
Get out!
I don't like being told off for stupid reasons while I'm trying to watch television. I think that's fair. Okay? I think that's fair.
Would not survive in a fucking decent household.
What did you do?
I'll tell you that. I didn't... What did I do? Oh, yeah. I haven't actually thought of it.
Well, I didn't answer it yet. I just explained that I really hate
it.
You... well, I guess I can answer it first. The worst I've ever been punished was... This has happened a few times. I've had to... Because we live quite near my grandmother, so I've kind of been forced to go there for a couple hours, and come back when I'm ready to apologize, even though I don't really have anything to be sorry for. Like, I know that I know that sounds like I'm being like a stubborn child, but genuinely, my mum just overreacts, and I get shit for it. And I will admit that it is my fault sometimes, but
I think the worst I've been punished is probably like public, like denouncing me, like sort of kind of tear me one in public in front of like relatives and stuff.
Oh dear.
Sometimes I don't even do stuff. It's just like
exactly.
No, but like actually not doing stuff, just sort of trying to either like not. Oh god.
I'm the same. I try my best to remain neutral, but I somehow piss her off. I don't know how I do it. It just happens. I don't do it. I don't do it on purpose.
Oh god. I don't know. I think like revealing secrets in front of family members, that's like low.
Oh right. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay then. How about two more questions?
Yeah. All right.
Next question. Actually, this is another parent one. Would you rather be caught having sex or smoking weed?
Smoking weed, 100%. My mom. Alright, okay, this is. Alright, okay.
Explain
my mom
yourself.
already knows that I've smoked weed before. It's not.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
Like, it's like sort of like a big whoop.
Yeah.
And even if you get. Like, what's the worst that can happen?
I mean, yeah.
But, like. And my dad is a whole different story. He's just like, yeah, do what you want to do.
I don't mean to preach, but genuinely, I don't know why weed is illegal. I don't do it myself, but it doesn't seem that harmful. Like, no one's died from it or anything. Like,
I don't know, because the thing is, having your parents walk in you having sex, you're fucking inside another. No, you're fucking.
I mean,
can you fucking imagine that? Like, you're.
Either way, I'm probably screwed. Because, okay. I'm just gonna say, if my mum.
Plus, it's embarrassing for the other person.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, your mum has seen me naked.
Well, it depends. Do you do it over or under the covers?
Oh god. I would never do that with my parents.
If my parents, like, I would. Okay, let's say my mum. If I had like a fear that my mum would come home early, I would definitely do it under the covers, because at least you can quickly stop and then just pretend you're watching a movie or something. So, I would say I'm more of an under the covers man, I guess.
Nah, I don't know. You just get sweaty.
Fair enough, but like,
it's just gross.
Like I said, either way I'm fucked. Because okay, if my mum catches me smoking weed, then I'm probably actually gonna die. Like, I'll probably never be trusted to go anywhere ever again. And if I get caught in like sexual acts, see, I don't even think she would be angry. I think she would just mock me for it for the rest of my life.
No, but the thing is, it's like getting caught smoking weed it's not that bad. It's sort of
but what I'm saying is my mum doesn't see it that way, because like, as you know, my dad has struggled with addiction, so she's very cautious about that, you know. So
yeah, but the thing, oh god, I love the Eastern and Western reaction to this. Mm-hmm. Sort of like having an addiction in like Asia, it's just like, oh, you had it, you were stupid once, alright. Whereas like, it's true though, they're just so nonchalant about it. I love it.
God, I'll remember to move to China, holy shit.
No, still though, drugs in China, they've got like fucking death penalty, I think, in Singapore if you get caught either smuggling weed or doing it.
Jesus Christ,
but,
death sentence.
No, just like that's like scarring for you, it's scarring for whoever you're doing it with.
Yeah.
And your mom's fucking seen your.
Well, I haven't answered the question. I haven't answered the question yet. I just said that either way, I'm screwed. Either I'm gonna get never trusted to do anything until I'm like 30, or I'm just gonna get fucking bullied for something forever. Like, I don't know. Like,
what would? Oh God, why would she bully you? Like,
because it's just like
look at you, fucking.
Because there's nothing really wrong with it. Because I am technically of like a legal age, and if the other girl is, I guess it's not that big of a problem. And if I'm using protection, then yeah, it's fine. But like, it's just one of those situations where it's so awkward and uncomfortable. The only thing you can do to like deal with it is to just mock the person for it and make humor of it, and that would just piss me off. Because I understand the logic, but it would still piss me off.
I don't think that would ever happen. I think just never speak about it again. That's literally just it.
Yeah. Well, in that case, I'd probably go with that one.
I don't know, but I still want to go back to the bit where you're just like, oh, I'd get made fun of it. What aspect would they make fun of you? Oh, you fucking
retard.
You fucking virgin. You fucking virgin. You only lasted 6 minutes.
It would literally be, you fucking retard. You had sex while your mother was home. Like, all my family.
The thing is, I would never do that though. It would just that would just never happen.
If it's just something that would never. Okay, well, if my logic doesn't work according to you, and it would just be a thing that would never be spoken about again, and not something that would have me lose all my trust issues until I'm 18. Then yeah, I would probably go with that one. I'd get caught in the act. If weed was legal, then I would definitely be caught smoking weed, but it's not, so, you know.
That's a good point.
Yeah. We have our own answers, it's fine. I think we agreed too much on the Shrek movies, so it's good that we're disagreeing on something, because that's really what spikes people's interests. So,
yeah.
Alright, last question.
Alright, ahead.
Okay, I want to make this a juicy one. I'm going to come up with this one on the spot. Okay. Would you rather be an infectious virus, full awareness, you know what you are, you know what you do, and you love doing it, and you will never die, there is no cure, you'll just do what you do forever, spreading, right? Or a mentally challenged dog?
Mentally challenged dog? That is not even a question.
Really?
Yeah.
You'd rather be a mentally challenged dog?
Dogs are already so free. If you're mentally challenged, it doesn't make a difference.
Yes, it does.
I mean,
if you're a mentally challenged dog, you're literally going to get nowhere in the dog world.
Yeah, and if you're a normal dog, you're not going to get anywhere in the dog world.
Yeah,
I mean, what is there to accomplish?
If you're like a normal dog, you can like hang out at the junkyard and like take care of yourself and maybe have a few puppies with a couple of slutty bitches here and there. But if
most
you're
dogs don't get to do that.
If you're like
domesticated.
Yeah, but there is the occasional dog, like in San Francisco, like dogs that like live in abandoned buildings and shit. Like they got some freedom on their tails. But if you're a mentally challenged dog, like let's say you end up on the streets, like you're literally just gonna die. Like you're gonna.
Yeah, I know, but would you rather die or be a fucking something like kill or just kill a bunch of people? I'd rather just die myself.
I'd probably be the virus, to be honest.
God.
Well, but the thing is, right, is let's say I mutated into like a humanoid, right? How fucking awesome would that be? Because I've already got the intelligence of like a psychotic human being. So if I'm like a 6 foot tall, like, do you know that Scooby-Doo film, The Cyber Chase, where it's like a computer virus or whatever? And it's got like the pointed legs and it's got the weird gargly voice and it just looks kind of cool. Like that would be awesome, you know? What would the Astile virus be called? I want you to name it.
What type of virus as well? Are we talking STDs or are we talking actual?
I'm just talking like a flu, I guess.
Like a flu?
Yeah, like a flu virus, but like a powerful one that just goes around. So basically,
I mean, you're fucking.
I'm basically. I'm a fully.
I could pretty much.
A fully.
I could pretty much go by your Discord server name. It's got numbers and an underscore, like everything you need for a virus.
Well, let's.
Definitely.
Definitely
not. That would definitely be your virus name.
I am not leaving that in. No, do not.
Oh yeah, you can.
Do not try. Do not try and add me on Discord. All right.
Unless you want to be a guest on this podcast.
Yeah.
But then you have to be invited.
Let's call the virus the. Let's call it the Steely B. The Steely B 25.
Yeah.
Steely B 25.
I can see that.
Steely B 25. I like that. And that's actually a SpongeBob joke. Do you remember that episode?
No, I can't remember.
I just thought of something funnier than 24. Let me hear
25.
it. 25. I love that show. That's all the questions I had answered. Be sure to... Yeah, I guess we can wrap things up. I hope you enjoyed our discussion. Please go check out the Shrek movies. Again, you can skip the last two. They really don't matter. Or you can just skip the third one and go straight to the fourth one, I guess. But that would leave some questions unanswered for the fourth one. MC Chungus, do you have anything you want to promote, shout out, or now's your chance to do it?
No.
Do you want people to add you on Discord?
Fuck no.
Alright, his name is that's his Discord name. You'll find him there.
You fucking lazy editor. Instead of saying it, you just decide to make your own.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's his Discord. Go at him. Yeah, be sure to check out the rest of the Astile Doherty YouTube channel. Lego Yoda, who was on the last podcast, is currently working on a track for my latest video, which has been fully edited and is just in need of having the track recorded over it. This has been Astile Doherty and MC Chungus.
Alright.
Au revoir.
Alright.
Don't,
see ya.